across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
This is The Late Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould, and goodness me, I can't find my iron, so I've had to wear this T-shirt rather than anything else I've got. Don't worry, it is clean, I just can't iron it. Look, I just want to say, we're going to talk about the way that the BBC deliberately suppresses the news in a couple of minutes, but I just want to say something that's a little bit obscure, but I think is really, really important for world peace. Today, a deal was signed between President Aliyev and Prime Minister Pashinyan of Armenia and Azerbaijan, respectively. Donald Trump has negotiated a deal between two former Soviet republics that have been at war ever since the Soviet Union collapsed. They've recently had an active conflict over Nagorno-Karabakh, and they've now negotiated a deal where Armenia will allow Azerbaijan to open up a trade corridor between it and Nagorno-Karabakh and Turkey, which is going to be called the Trump Route for Peace or something like that. Anyway, the details of the deal are not that important. It is literally called the Trump route. But OK, the details are not important. What's really important is we, and I include me and Asher, and indeed you, as viewers and listeners, have been going on for ages about Donald Trump's capacity to bring about peace. As Armenia has not had a border open with Turkey since the Armenian genocide of 1915, and yet the deal was signed earlier today. Vladimir Putin cut out the deal, despite the fact that he is the president of Russia, which was obviously the lead state in the Soviet Union, and both Azerbaijan and Armenia were there. Azerbaijan is Turkish Muslim. Armenia obviously is Orthodox Christian. But what it shows is, if you have a level head and if you're sensible and if you follow what Donald Trump says, peace can be brought about. His idea of a peace corridor funded by the Americans is very similar to what he was talking about with Gaza and having an American-owned and operated port. And yet Hamas and Gaza wouldn't agree to it. Yeah, it's left field. Yeah, it's a bit weird. But look, these lot have been at war for hundreds of years, and not only that, the people of Azerbaijan, who are effectively Turkish, starved the Armenians to death in 1915 and invaded their territory 2 or 3 years ago, and yet peace has come about. Why can't we do that in Gaza? Why can't we have some left field thinking instead of this stupidity which allows the IDF to invade Gaza and then just give the territory back to exactly the same people that ruined it in the first place? It just drives me bananas. So I just wanted to say that. Look, I appreciate that most of you can't find Armenia and Azerbaijan on the map and don't know where Nagorno-Karabakh is and don't care. I understand that. It's in the Caucasus. It's not that important. But once again, you know, 110-year dispute comes to an end. And at the same time we're doing that, Asher, we've got people mucking about with this Gaza thing, saying, let's recognise Hamas, let's recognise a Palestinian state, instead of listening to what Donald Trump said. And he's right. Build a port in Gaza, get trade going. The Americans would own and operate the port, which means that Israel would know that its security was defended and protected, and then start doing trade deals around the world. That's the solution.
Yeah, I mean, there's no actual person to do the deal with, like Azerbaijan and what was that other part? Armenia. So, I mean, that is the only... And I think a lot of the actual people in Gaza would appreciate Hamas and other jihadi terrorist groups not running their country, because it's never going to end well, is it? It's just obviously they're in fear to say anything. Although a lot of the brave ones have come out and said it, but often end up with a bullet to the head. So
well, I think if there was going to be this Trump port, if you like, and by the way, the Trump corridor in Armenia is going to be funded by the United States of America. They will make money profit off it as well. I don't think profit's a dirty word.
Like Vegas on the Mediterranean. It's going to be beautiful.
Gaza would be amazing.
Yeah, no, it is, because it's actually the best part. It's actually a better beach than Tel Aviv.
Without a doubt. And Tel Aviv's pretty nice. But also, most of you who've not been to Israel or Gaza, it's very easy to see what it's like, because Cyprus is virtually the same.
But there used to be peace, you know, Israelis and Gaza. There wasn't a border. You could just go and they'd go to the market there, and everyone would go to the market, and there was no hassle.
But we are one of the countries that has dismissed this idea of Donald Trump's has been completely mad. And what he's done in the caucuses is he's ended a dispute that has lasted for hundreds of years. He's come in with his idea of American property. Now, OK, that's a bit of a weird idea in diplomacy, but nonetheless, Haydar Aliyev and Prime Minister Pashtunian are there shaking hands in the White House today, having been at war only, 3 years ago over Nagorno-Karabakh? Anyway, I'll leave you with that thought. Once again, I don't think our government's going to take much notice. Instead, we're going to recognise Palestine, which is a complete non-issue, particularly, as Asher said, given it's got no government.
Well, it's strengthened Hamas in that they won't want peace now, because now you've got Keir Starmer doing their bidding for them.
Anyway, that is my moan over, because it would be great. It would be great to do a deal in Gaza like they've done in Armenia, but of course we're not going to do that. We're going to send a big load of aid for everyone to stick their hand in the till, and we're going to allow Hamas to rearm and attack Israel again, and we'll do this whole thing again in 15, 20 years' time. Intifada 56 in 150 years. Mark it in your diary for June. OK, let's go on to part of the reason why there is so much dishonesty in the media is the BBC. Now, look, the former BBC journalist Christopher Middleton has gone viral, revealing his secrets about the BBC. He's basically claimed that the BBC are not reporting protests by patriotic people, and also are keen to disguise a lot of the things that are really going on. Chris joins us now. Now, look, Chris, you were a journalist. To be fair, you were fired by the BBC because of your Starmer song that you made, which I think was entirely legitimate.
Well, he just wasn't hired because he was a freelancser, but he knows what happened, really.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah. He was a freelancer on a 0-hour contract and found no work subsequent to criticising Keir Starmer. Here's my question. Right, so I've always said we lost a greatness of debating the other day. He never called himself that until I started using the phrase to James Whale. But we genuinely believe that the way that you can avoid extremism, the way that you can avoid hatred, the way that you can avoid bad governance is to have a free, honest and open debate. Lest we forget, the Weimar Republic in Germany made criticism of Jews illegal and tried to criminalise the Nazi Party in exactly the same way as the College of Policing are attempting to criminalise free speech today, and that did not result in preventing a genocide in 1930s and 1940s Germany. Chris, why do the establishment are so obsessed with not telling the full story?
Well, hello, guys. Thanks for throwing a lot on me there, Andre. And sorry, I just want to start by saying as well,
can you answer in 10 seconds?
To you guys. I just wanted to say... I'm sorry to hear about James Whale, by the way.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It was a pleasure to get to speak to him back in Christmas. He was actually the first guy that I did speak to about the song, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, was it? Yeah.
Yeah,
he had his finger on the pulse, or rather, the producers had the finger on the pulse, and he
had his fingers on other things.
I'll tell you one thing about James Whale before we get into the serious stuff that made me laugh. I was a contributor first, and I was I think I was the first person this channel trained up as a presenter, having been just a contributor. And the thing about being a contributor with James Whale, the TV or radio shows will phone you up in advance and go, right, you are an expert on X subject. You're coming onto the channel to talk about this. What points will you make? And that comes in a briefing note that looks like that. James Whale, when you got on the show, the discussion could be about anything at all. Whatever happened to pop into his head in that particular moment would be the subject for discussion. Anyway, what we've done now is broadside you with a random discussion, but you're worried, genuinely worried, about the ignoring of the criticism of these migrant hotels. Now, I don't think you come at this with any particular political bent. You're just a journalist who genuinely believes that the BBC needs to be honest. Why don't they do it?
Correct. Yeah. Well, the thing was, when I did work at the BBC, I was working during the Southport riots, protests initially that turned into riots last year. And one of the things, and they've done it a lot in a lot of different stories. One of the things that never has sat right with me, it's the way that they frame the two sides of the argument. You've always got on one side the anti-racists, yes, and then on the other side you've got the far right. So initially, just by using those two phrases, you've already set your ideological frame there about what you think is going on, and this is how the BBC always frames these things.
Yeah, I saw a court case the other day, and I think, I mean, I don't know if it's ongoing, I'll just generalise it, but basically they said this person who had allegedly stabbed this woman, they said a court case about this woman who died. They just said she died, nothing about are being murdered and stabbed to death.
Yeah, like it was just magic.
So they frame, and it's a two-tier. It's basically been infiltrated, the BBC, and you can only be on a certain side. If you don't fit, you won't get promoted, and you wouldn't probably want to work there if you come from the wrong angle.
I mean, I'll tell you something, Chris. I'd have prosecuted BBC executives for their support for Hamas, simply because when they said that Hamas they didn't describe them as terrorists. Terrorists in the UK has a legal definition, and that is those groups that have been prescribed by the Home Secretary for the prevention of terrorism. Right? The fact that BBC effectively argued that Hamas were not terrorists was offering support to Hamas. And the fact
they did that documentary with the son of one of the ministers of Hamas and paid money to them, and they basically are the publicity arm in many ways.
Can you imagine in 1972 going to West Belfast and then saying the number of people killed in this British government action is X number? The IRA have told us, but don't present it as that. Say it's the West Belfast Community Association or whatever. They're quoting terrorists.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. And I think that is the whole Israel-Gaza situation has put it into stark contrast for a lot of people, where essentially, if you're just repeating exactly what the Hamas health ministry says, you're basically just doing propaganda for Hamas, aren't you?
But Chris, let me ask you this question. So, when the BBC reported that the rocket attack, which by the way, I mean, let me go through a couple of points. Point number one, I have been in war zones. There's no point in being a Walter Mitty. I've not been in the military or whatever, but I've been to various places during my journalistic career and other things, right? If a missile lands or a rocket lands or a large artillery shell lands or even, frankly, a fair decent machine gun gets let off in a crowded area, I will tell you, you can't count the number of corpses immediately. It requires DNA testing. So the BBC, first of all, 15 minutes after the rocket lands, have already concluded it was the Israeli Defence Force that did it.
It's Jeremy Bowen, wasn't it?
Jeremy Bowen. Yeah. Now, by the way, these things are in tiny fragments. Now, based on analysis of the metal, you can work out who fired it, but the BBC had worked out within 15 minutes it was definitely the IDF. They'd also worked out the total number of casualties at, what was it, 500, but also it
turned out to be 50.
It was this round figure as well, where 15 minutes after it lands, here's Jeremy Bowen, he says we've the implication being we've analysed the missile, we've analysed the wreckage, and we've counted the number of bodies. It's definitely 500. Oh, what, not 498?
And by the way, it was Islamic Jihad that misfired the rocket. And then when he's challenged with it, he accepted it was wrong, and they said, "Well, would you apologise?" He went, "No," all arrogantly.
But this roundabout way, Chris, of asking you a simple question: do they believe this garbage, or are they deliberately lying?
Well, I think it's hard. In that particular instance, I think it's very hard to come away with any other conclusion than that he obviously was deliberately lying in that instance, wasn't he? I mean, he did literally just make that information up.
But it's very rare a missile could kill 500 people, you know what I mean? I don't think it's ever happened in the Gaza war, ever.
Yeah, a single missile, yeah.
I mean, the size of missile required, I think, is the point. Well, exactly, the IDF would never fire it. Yeah. Something that would topple an entire tower block or something.
Yeah.
I mean, what are these... Right, explain to me, what are these conversations like? Because, I mean, do they sit there going, oh, look, we must talk more about Gaza? I imagine they don't. I imagine it's much more subtle. Can you explain how the bias feels when you sit in it?
I think this is something that I always find really interesting, because a lot of people, obviously we're in the media, but sort of normal lay people always go to this idea that there's sort of like a big grand conspiracy going on, someone coming up from on high to say, no, this is how, we're directing the news. But in reality, it doesn't work like that. It's when you have so many people who all work for an organization who all basically just believe the same thing, these things just naturally come up. There is no, you don't have to have planning. You don't have to have someone coming up from on high, because everyone just already believes these things. It's almost just like this is the natural order, and this is just how things come about.
And you feel uncomfortable if you believed, like if you were someone who, was Jewish or believed in Israel. We spoke to a Jewish reporter and he had to leave. It's got to a state now where if you're on the other side of politics, it's very uncomfortable to work there. And also you'll get trouble in getting promoted.
I mean, if you just to dovetail on to what Asher said, if you walked in and said, Do you know what? I don't think Gaza's the biggest issue. My principal concern is the genocide against Christians in Nigeria. I suspect...
Or the girls, the working class, hundreds of thousands of working class girls that have been raped.
Yeah, well, and this is exactly how, this is the main way that bias works in the media, and particularly with the BBC. The BBC doesn't have to go out telling outright lies. The bias comes from what they're giving prominence to. Yes. And if you go onto the BBC homepage on any given day, you'll find 5 stories about Gaza, 5 stories about Donald Trump. You'll never hear anything about what's happening in Sudan, which is an actual genocide. You'll never hear anything about what's happening to the Christians in Nigeria, as you mentioned, let alone...
But to what extent? To what extent? David Starkey comes up with this great word, indulge. Right, to what extent are the BBC just indulging a group of fairly ignorant left-wing politicos who think Gaza's the most important issue of the day? And to what extent do they actually believe it is the most important issue?
I think they genuinely do, in the same way that whenever you get any of these protests, you always get the left-wing counter-protesters, whether it's about the NHS or benefits or just any random issue. There's always a load of Palestinian flags there, because to them, it doesn't matter what we're actually talking about. Palestine is actually the main issue all the time. Yeah. And I think that's just the case for people on the left.
I mean, I was quite shocked and disgusted, by the way, when it came to Armistice Sunday, that first year. It must have been a month after the October the 7th attacks. And I was surprised at the way that there was fair unanimity amongst how would you describe this, the Muslim population of Britain and people like the BBC, that Armistice Sunday should be all about Gaza, and we should forget completely the First, Second World War, the Falklands, all of the other conflicts that have taken place, and instead actually we should just have a big Palestinian rally on that day. And it was amazing, because I just thought, well, you just don't understand that I care more about Britain than I do about a tiny territory in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and I think that's right. And I think that's why so many just normal, everyday British people now are just getting fed up with the BBC, to be honest, because that's, most people don't care really much beyond what's going on in their day-to-day life. And they tune into the BBC and they just hear non-stop coverage of...
Well, I want to ask you a question, but I think we're going to have to go to a break first. But do you know what? I'm going to ask the question to you, and I'll give you some time to cogitate and think about it. I always remember that Andrew Neil always used to say that The Guardian was the BBC staff magazine. And he always used to say the one newspaper, when you went to any rack within the BBC to try and get a newspaper, the racks were full of The Sun, The Times, the Telegraph, but you could never get a copy of The Guardian because they were snapped up. When we come back, I'm going to ask Chris Middleton, the former BBC journalist, whether it's The Guardian themselves that drive the news agenda in this country, because the number of journalists at the BBC that read it. More next.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, it's The Late Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. First week without James Whale, but I think we're just about getting through. We are here, I was about to say with Ant Middleton. We're here with Chris Middleton, the former BBC journalist. And before the break, I asked you, Chris, just to tell us about the role of The Guardian, because we know that The Guardian, has its own news agenda. Nothing wrong with that. It's a private institution. Well, it's not really a private institution given its tax fiddle status that it so blatantly has. But what's on the front page of The Guardian clearly is what drives the BBC's news agenda, and that is a minority sport. The stuff that genuinely is popular, like stuff in The Sun and even in The Mirror, just gets ignored, doesn't it?
I mean, I think that is largely true, to be honest with you. And again, that's why I don't have the stats to hand, but more, the BBC's figures are just going down and down and down, aren't they? Because people are switching off. The whole point of the BBC is it's meant to be the public service broadcaster, and it's meant to treat everyone fairly and all views fairly. But as we've seen what's happening more and more over the past few years, just the average, normal, everyday Brits views, someone just a working class person, someone perhaps who can't necessarily articulate themselves properly in what they think, they're the people that just have normal views, but they're constantly the views that are getting chastised.
But it's like it's working for the government, isn't it? I mean, you worked in the newsroom in the broadcasting house, did you? Or I mean, what sort of things?
No, I worked in Newcastle.
Okay, but what sort of things did you see? Because when I've been in the BBC, it's totally different to like Talk and Virgin and TalkSport. There's lots of banter and fun. It's like a library because everyone's worried they might say the wrong sort of thing. But what sort of stories can you tell us that happened in your newsroom?
Yeah. Well, this was partly one of the reasons. So as you said before, I worked there for 7 years as a freelancer, and I was offered full-time jobs there, but I never took them. And one of the reasons for that was because the actual office environment there, it's, as you say, it's very what's the way to describe it?
Stale. Toxic. You're worried what someone might say the worst thing.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of that, especially because, as you say, like someone like myself, who's obviously more to the sort of right of things, someone who is pro-Brexit, for example.
But that went down badly.
I couldn't imagine ever uttering those words in the office for fear of being shunned,
And it does depend. I mean, we've seen with John T. Rhodes and the master cooks, we've seen the problems that they have. These are white, middle class or working class blokes. And then if someone from maybe an ethnic minority or female says something or does something worse, it's a different rule for one person and the other. And also, they never used to, the BBC, they don't show Top of the Pops or certain things with certain DJs in anymore. But if they've done something so bad, these master cooks, why are they showing their programmes again?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I think the issue there, Asher, is you're trying to apply principles and logic to the BBC.
Yeah.
Is it what? So here's the thing, right? So. Who runs it on a day-to-day basis? And the reason I ask you that is because it's very clear to me that there are certain people who are untouchable, and then there's an awful lot of grunts, and then there's a management who partially control what's going on, but more have an influence than anything else. Yeah. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? I can't fully.
That's how they do it, because you can't name a name, so no one's responsible. There's just layers of management. And I remember at the Trick Awards, Hugh Edwards was there when Whale won his Lifetime Achievement. It was about a day before all the announcements came out about Hugh Edwards, and he was on a table with all BBC management. They were all drinking, celebrating because Hugh Edwards won an award, but they would have all known this was coming up.
Hugh was on Instagram
because no management get caught out because there's so many layers. It's not like where one person is responsible anymore. So and this happens across all institutions, but particularly at the BBC. I mean, what's your view on how the management structures are there?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's the same. It's like the BBC, right? It's like the NHS. It's like any of these sort of government organisations where what happens is over time you just end up with more managers than actual workers.
Yeah. So no one's held responsible ultimately, and they don't care.
Exactly right. And also no one ever seems to actually be fired for doing anything.
Apart from you.
Well, for that reason, because they can't put a name on it. They can't put a name on who was responsible.
I mean, the irony is. Hugh, and so, okay, let's just assume if you are a freelancer doing well, getting regularly booked, and then you no longer get booked after you've done something, let's call that being fired. Legally, it's not, but that's realistically, in practice, what it is.
Cancelled, isn't it?
So let's just be clear. Had you gone onto Instagram communicated with a paedophile, gone for a beer with him, and then demanded pornographic pictures from a teenager, admittedly over the age of 18, which is what they knew about at the time, that would be fine. However, making an amusing comedy song about Keir Starmer was a sackable offence. I mean, you know, what...
You might want another 2-minute break to answer that.
Where is the morality in that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is the thing, and you know, I was a freelancer. You're right. It's a bit of a stretch to say I was fired, but you know, I did work there for 7 years consistently. I did have 2 months of shifts cancelled because of the song. So I certainly lost work and was booted out of the organisation. That's for sure. The issue, of course, is that I'm a sort of nobody, aren't I? And they'll seem to...
No, Andre, disagree with him.
But it's precisely the same as Martin Bashir.
No.
Martin Bashir, let's not go into
that went viral, that song.
Let's not go into the whole Princess Diana thing. No. But let's be clear, Princess Diana didn't have any police bodyguards because she believed she was being spied upon. That was because of the lies of Martin Bashir. That Martin Bashir ordered fake bank statements from a member of staff at Althorpe Park, then gave them to Princess Diana to make it look like he was being paid by the security services to leak about her. And do you know what the BBC did? They fired the graphic designer who made the face.
And blacklisted him. He never got work again. And in fact, he won in court, I think, a couple of million off them.
Bashir was fine. They said, well, when Bashir came up to you and asked you to falsify bank statements, you shouldn't have said yes. I mean,
but you remember they made him religious correspondent after that, didn't they? It was like putting him sideways. And then when it all got too much, he said, oh, I'm too ill, I can't answer any questions. I mean, it's so obvious, all this cover-up stuff. I mean, it's just like the government. It's just like what's happening in all these institutions. Do you ever see there's a way out, or is it the end of the BBC? How's this going to get sorted out?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I've seen this myself as well, where people will just they'll never be fired, right? Once you get into the organisation far enough, you seem to just be in for life unless you actually commit crimes. If you do something lower level wrong, you just sort of get moved around the organisation to various different spots, and you just get another cushy job somewhere else. In terms of the future of the BBC, I think it's going to be ending at some point. They seem to just be focusing on all the wrong things, in my opinion, for what what a public broadcaster should be doing. And the more that they get politicised, the more they're just going to piss everyone off, basically. And they're already showing that that's happening. As we say,
I worked as a contributor at the BBC, and what was remarkable about that, I mean, I've complained about the racism and sexism of the BBC before, racism and sexism towards white blokes. But what was amazing was, even when I was a contributor on 5 Live, if I expressed a view about Brexit, I wanted to leave the European Union, it was presented as a mad minority view shared by only a small percentage of the population. And actually, I didn't want to have a referendum on the European Union because I believed we'd lose badly. I thought it'd be like 70-30 or something because of my experience at the BBC. And when there was a vote to leave by majority, it really showed that the BBC, for all of these years, presenting my view, which I would like to think of as a moderate Brexiteer. I accept the EU was good in some respects, but overall, I want to be from an independent country. That view, which was presented as mad, turned out to be the majoritarian position.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same, going back to what we're originally talking about, is the protests, where they almost treat these opinions and these ideas, which they don't agree with, but are generally held by most normal people. They almost treat them with kid gloves, like they're the sort of patronising people, like, really, you think that? That seems rather strange. Like they almost can't believe that people would have these.
Well, they'd never met a Brexiteer. I mean, they had, but yeah. I mean, let's just be clear. You go to Media City in Salford. I mean, I've got a brilliant detail about Media City in Salford. Right, I'll tell you what. Let's go to a break, and I'm going to tell you about it just in a couple of minutes because I've got the best ever BBC story that ends all BBC stories.
Don't go anywhere.
across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, well, this is the James Whale show still. I mean, obviously, we've not talked about him, but we are going to be talking about him because a few people were phoning and saying, why don't you? We are doing quite a lot about him a bit later on. We've got a highlights bit we're sticking out, and we're going to do some more. But yeah, so...
I think it's important to soldier on, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but we also, you know, we will be talking about him and doing a few things in a bit. But at the moment, we're talking to Chris Middleton. And what was it you asked before the break?
So here is the greatest BBC story
about Salford. This
ever.
Is the best ever.
I'm just going to explain a little story about the way that voting goes in the UK. So when you see people counting votes at ballot boxes or whatever, there are people who are tellers who watch what's going on. Now, what they're doing is a box count. Just to explain what that is, the final result in the election will be announced, but the ballot boxes come from individual primary schools around a particular borough. So what they're doing is they're working out what each individual box, which way each individual box voted by doing samples of 100. So they'll go, right, so they'll say as an example, OK, Labour lost Romford Council, but in Gidea Park, that particular ballot box came in good for Labour. Actually, that's the wrong way round, but OK, fine. So on the night of the Brexit referendum, the ballot box came in where Media City voted. Right, I think it's Oddsall ballot box. It was turned upside down, and there were a total of 4 people who had voted for Brexit. Right, 4. Everybody, literally everybody else who lived at Media City voted Reform.
Because they're not from the area, are they?
Voted Remain.
They're not from the area.
So now, obviously, not everybody at Media City lives there, but it is a residential community, and it's principally BBC. So there are 4 people. So my mate, who's a Tory MP, has been telling this story to people for a while, that only 4 people voted, until another person said, actually, I don't know if you know this, there are 2 council houses actually in that ballot box area that existed before Media City was built. So they actually went round to these 2 council houses, knocked on the door. There are 4 registered voters, and each and every one of them claimed to have voted Leave. So that means, having identified the 4 people that voted Leave in the Brexit referendum in Media City, that means that every single person who works at the BBC who lives in Media City, all of them, not the majority, not many of them, not 90%, every single one of them voted Reform. All of them. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, that's insane to the nth degree. I mean, I was going to say, there's people that I know that I remember at the time, people genuinely turning to me, you know, after the result came through. And as you say, like, even those sort of leavers didn't really expect that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But there were people that said to me, you know, that they were shocked. They were like, I literally cannot believe this has happened. I don't know a single person who wants to leave.
Yeah.
And when people are saying that, but then they're also the ones that are doing the impartial news.
Yeah, that's right.
But it just goes to show, even with all that...
What else do you expect is going to happen?
Mind you, Asher, Chris, let's just be clear. When somebody at Media City goes, I don't know anybody who voted Leave, we now know they're telling the truth. At least.
But imagine with all that bias and prejudice and media output, it's still won. Imagine what a landslide it would have been, really, if it would have been a balanced argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. And then, you know, all you have to do is translate that to every other single argument that we're having now in the country, and you see that the BBC basically does the same thing on all of them.
Well, it worked, didn't it? I mean, we never got Brexit, and so it sort of showed the people, the politicians in Parliament, the BBC, that we can just forget what the hoi polloi thing and just carry on with what we're doing.
Isn't there another danger? And I think the danger... You know, if you look at people who are considered by the BBC far right, who actually, you know, are not the Adolf Hitler supporting...
Just anyone who doesn't agree with anything they say, yeah.
The problem is, it's this cry wolf thing, isn't it? Look, at the end of the day, I could paper the walls with people saying I'm far right racist and all this sort of thing. Doesn't bother me anymore because those terms don't have any meaning anymore. Yeah. And what worries me
diluted it.
is when we see examples of genuine racism. Let me give you an obvious example of this is the anti-Semitism thing. There are people who are genuinely racially discriminating against Jewish people. Maybe it's because they're twisted in their hatred of Israel. Maybe it's something more deep. Doesn't matter. But because we're so used to people being accused of racism now, everyone just ignores it and goes, oh, because what racism now means, Chris, is not that you are racially discriminating against somebody, it's that you disagree with the left on something. So what is the word for somebody who racially discriminates? I'd argue that it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, this is what happens. This is what the sort of left does all the time through history, right? They overuse these words. They use the words incorrectly as a pejorative, as an insult. And just to try and because they can't argue their positions, right? So they just have to shout down the other side.
So that's just they know that they're wrong. That they are
right. All of these things, you know, like the word fascist, for example, has a very specific meaning in political philosophy. Yes. Not that any single person on the left who's ever used it would know what that actually is, because they don't care. They just use it as an insult. And then, as you say, what happens is all of these words just become completely meaningless now, so that when actual instances of these things are happening, we no longer don't have a word for it because you've essentially
But it's just they know what they are doing is wrong because they don't want to listen to the argument because they'll know they'll be found out. I mean, we saw that singer, what was his name? Peter Watson Foster, the posh bloke from Bristol who puts on a street voice and shouts death to the IDF. It caused a load of anti-Semitic attacks all over the world and people chanting that. It sort of made it go all around the world. And it's been normalised at the BBC. That's why they thought for 40 minutes it's all right and just leave it on the iPlayer for a few days. Do you know what I mean? So it's sort of become normalised racism of a certain type, the left.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, stuff like that's obviously insane. And yet they'll jump, if someone just says, oh, I think maybe immigration is a little bit too high, they'll jump on that as immediately as racist. But if someone's calling death of Jews on air for half an hour, that doesn't occur to them that might be a bit bad.
I think the other thing is, and I think Asher's right to raise this whole issue of I forget which one of you did it, this whole issue of the wrong language. Just to take a current issue from today, Gaza, we're only talking about Gaza because it happens to be topical today. If you are unhappy with the performance of the IDF, that's fine. But when you start talking about preventing a genocide, it's not helpful if you use the wrong terminology, because a genocide, as we've said many times on here, is when you are deliberately attempting to remove people from a particular area on the grounds of their ethnicity. What the allegation against the IDF is that they're not prosecuting a war against Hamas in a way that minimises civilian casualties. Now, that argument can be had, and obviously Asher will say it's the lowest level of civilian casualties in any war historically. Other people will say even entering Gaza was a mistake.
What they do on that score is they won't ever say how many terrorist fighters. They'll just say 50,000 civilians. So again, they're obfuscating. Anyway, carry on.
But the point being, Chris, you can't have a debate about how Israel is prosecuting the war on Hamas vis-a-vis civilian casualties if what you're then arguing is this is just a genocide and they're just killing everyone and deliberately starving them to death. I mean, as an example, there is a very interesting debate to be had about how you get aid into Gaza, given that the aid distribution routes are controlled by terrorists and UN officials allied to terrorists. But that debate cannot be had, because instead we're just going on about this bloody genocide, which isn't happening. And it's just incredibly frustrating because I find that the BBC's attempt to solicit debate actually stymies it.
Yeah, well, I think it ties in exactly to what I was just saying about overusing the words racist, fascist, etc. They're doing it because it means they don't have to have any kind of argument. They just go, no, it's a genocide, so therefore I win the argument, and you're just essentially
It's exactly
a toddler argues.
It's exactly like a young child. A young child will give when they lack. And when they're not sufficiently articulate to describe why they want to do something, very often young children will give the argument because. Now, when you say, why don't you want to come to shops with me? Because...
yeah, but also, like, they've got all chocolate around their mouths, and you go, have you been to the chocolate cupboard? They'll go, no, I haven't, and they'll deny it, even when it's obvious. And that's how they're behaving like a 3-year-old.
Whereas obviously what happens is, what the left do, and I think this is where they're clever, and I'll give Chris the final word on this, where they're clever is, and I think Black Lives Matter were the most egregious example, where basically Black Lives Matter is a Trotskyist, left-wing group who wants to abolish the police, wants to abolish democracy, wants to abolish independent courts, wants to create a supreme Soviet for us all to live like rats and slaves under their jackboot. But what they prescribed it as, they said, well, we believe that Black Lives Matter. If you disagree with us, then you are therefore the Black Lives Don't Matter Brigade.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly the same. When you're talking about Israel, I don't go along with it, but they require me to effectively defend a genocide because they say Israel is committing a genocide. Ergo, by talking anything different, you're a supporter of genocide. You're a supporter of Adolf Hitler. You're a supporter of whatever. Doesn't that frustrate you?
Yeah, well, this is the whole issue with the sort of the way the left argues in general is they always set it up in a moralistic way where they come at everything from this sort of sanctimonious position that they're morally correct and that if you disagree, you're morally wrong. So they actually don't feel like they don't have to argue with you. They don't have to give you the decency to even argue back. They just shut you down with these words, these moralistic words, because in their mind you are just evil and you're not even worthy of actually
by
arguing
calling
with.
it Black Lives Matter or stand up to racism, which on the face of it, of course we all agree with that, but that's not what the actual movement stand for. It's a very cunning wordplay.
This is one of the things that they're best at, is they don't just use language in the negative against the opposition, they also use it in the positive against them for themselves, where all of their movements sound great. Stand up to racism, who'd be against that? But actually it's
the number of times where they go, well, you're just a bigot then. And you go, well, what do you mean?
If you disagree with them, you must be racist. It's just they're clever. Well, not very clever. Anyway, we've got to go, Chris. Thanks for all that. That was really interesting. And what are you doing now, work-wise?
So I'm independent now. I'm just doing my own thing, writing pieces here and there.
Are you doing another Christmas single? Because it went massive and viral, and they tried to... Didn't they ban it off the charts or something because it was going to win?
Yeah, the BBC refused to play it.
It went to number one, didn't it? And they refused to play it, even though...
Went to number one on the download chart, the BBC download chart.
So what about this year? What's coming out? Another Keir Starmer follow-up record?
Well, I'm not sure. Well, obviously, he went back on the winter fuel allowance now, so I can't just rehash that one, unfortunately.
But now he's got the hate, that new thing that said, I'll take you away, because it's like East Germany, isn't it? Like Ceausescu. What about a migrant hotel rap with Keir Starmer?
What about there's a refugee loose about this house?
No, I wouldn't bother with that one.
No, that's a good one. OK, thank you. That's Chris Middleton, who is...
Thanks, Chris.
He's not a sacked BBC journalist because he was a freelance, but he was a freelance who made an amusing song about Keir Starmer and then was never hired for any shifts again.
Don't joke about the leader.
Now, I want to say, obviously, as Asher said at the beginning of this segment, we are soldiering on despite the fact that this is the first week of what was the James Whale show since James Whale's death. If you'd been watching yesterday, you'd know that we've got a few clips lined up from him because the great leader, the man that inspired this channel and many other channels, will never be forgotten. But we're going to do that after the break, aren't we?
Yeah, and also in the future, there's going to be so much stuff coming out, which is the brilliant thing because it's on video. But anyway, we'll be back with some of that in a couple of minutes.
the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
OK, this is The Late Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. And we decided, as this was the first hour of what used to be the James Whale show, we thought we'd show some clips. So, Asher, you've picked some of your favourites.
Well, Chuck told me what to pick, and the first one he's told me what to pick.
Don't tell them that!
Oh, we're letting them go the secrets.
No, let's do it. Let's do it again. Do it again.
All right.
OK. Asher, this is the first show since James Whale sadly died earlier this week. You've got some of your favourite clips, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I spent all afternoon going through my video vault, and the one thing he loved and I loved was Halloween, so I brought this old Betamax tape in, and let's have a look at what we get up to on Halloween.
Right, I can't have this pretend myself.
How long until we're on?
10 seconds.
All right.
10 seconds, OK, 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7. Do you know, saving money not having a floor manager doing it ourselves?
Yeah,
I'm not sure it's a good... Is it? I'm not sure it's a good saving. Do you like the shirt, by the way?
Yeah, it's a beauty. It's one of your nicest ones, yeah.
I thought it was good. OK. Are you ready?
Yeah.
OK, they're saying right. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the James Whale Show. Ash is with me tonight. It's Halloween, so we're making a little, what are we making?
A spooktacular.
A spooktacular, yeah. The producer wants us to call it a spooktacular, talking about news stories of the day. Loads of guests. There'll be a lot of ghost involvement in the programme. If you are haunted and you've got one with you, call us 0344 499 1000.
Yeah, and that blood, by the way, it ran down my face all night, and it tasted of blood. I just think it was real blood to make up people. But yeah, it was real blood. And I went clubbing after, and the bouncers didn't really like that. They got
look.
They didn't see the funny side of it.
Asher's Jewish, so what they said was they went to the butcher's and just got some old pig's blood. Don't worry, he won't mind. Yeah. He won't mind.
I don't know what it was, but it did taste exactly like...
It tasted like hemoglobin, you know, like the iron taste.
Anyway, of course, a regular to this show was Peggy Ollerenshaw from Maplin's Holiday Camp, obviously played by Sue Pollard, Heidi, and we had a right ball every time she came on the show, and this is one of those times.
Walking on sunshine.
Whoa!
I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa! I'm walking on sunshine. Woo! And don't it feel good?
Yeah! 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 I cannot believe we spent half an hour rehearsing that before the show. I really can't.
That was my Michael Bolton face.
That was a large jacket, Asher.
Well, I was a large person.
I'm not being funny. What with it being light grey, you looked like the HMS Nimrod.
It did what's it called? The Abominable Snowman. We got another one. Let's have a look at this classic. This is obviously Whale. He threw out a lot of people. It became a real art with James Wales, and we're going to have a few selections of them. But this one is one of his particular types he used to throw out the studio. Are climate protesters. Here's one of them.
You're a waster, mate.
Well,
you're a waster.
So
you sit on the road, you do nothing. You're negative.
Sector. So profit is theft. If you're exploiting someone else's labour...
Get out of my studio now.
Get
out of my studio now. Get out of my studio now.
By some ideology which is
money from someone else's labour, you're seeking the money.
Please
anyway, take care. Take care, all. Lovely to speak.
Go on now.
Do you want some soup? Do you want some Heinz soup?
Yeah, do you want a can of soup?
No, better not give him any soup. Yeah.
Why did you have all those cans of soup?
What was the reason for I can't remember.
So they'd thrown tomato soup over...
was it? Yeah.
The Mona Lisa, was it?
Yeah, it was something like that. Well, not the Mona... I don't know, yeah, but it was something to do with that.
But you'd bought... I mean, there was a stack of cans. You'd bought about 50 cans.
Yeah. They were throwing soup. He'd thrown soup on something, and it was a waste of soup.
Yeah, but Asher,
to be honest,
Asher, I love you to bits, but you're as tight as a rat's backside.
Yeah, well, I took cans.
You didn't buy the cans of soup, did you? Oh, I see. The producer.
Yeah, and then we shared them out.
Just let me ask you a question. Did you manage to expense the cans of soup?
No.
I'll tell you what.
He buys all those uniforms on Amazon as well.
I remember. I bought that spare MBE for £100 and never expensed that. Gone now, isn't it?
Oh.
Anyway.
No, maybe not too late. Anyway, we've had a lot of problem callers over the years. I mean, thousands of the things. And here's a little video of just some of the technical things that can go wrong in the caller's end as well as ours. Let's have a look.
I always disagree with James.
Right.
Hang on.
You're a sensible man.
Sorry, my phone's ringing.
You thought that was yours, didn't you?
I did.
But my dad's suffering from the same circumstances as him, and I would like to
There's your phone
thank
again.
him. I'm going to switch off, sorry.
Don't worry. I quite like that old ringtone.
Yeah, hold on.
It's like the old Nokia tune, isn't it?
Yeah.
There it goes again. Someone knows you're on the radio and they're annoying you. They're doing that on purpose.
Right, let me, hang on a minute. Alex.
Basically,
Alex.
That's Ian. This is Ian.
Oh, it's Ian. Right, Ian. So your dad has...
basically, my dad
Ian,
has the same circumstances as yourself.
Ian, can you listen to me?
And
Can you listen to me?
Thank you for what you came out with last week. And I don't always agree with you.
No. But can I just talk to you, Ian, before, you know...
Okay.
How old is your dad?
He's... Oh, God.
He's trying to call you.
Can you sling that out the window?
Just press the mute button on it.
Yeah.
Well, I do like it.
It's all right.
It's nostalgic, wasn't it? Anyway, we're going to take your actual calls now. 0344 499 1000. Give us a ring and leave messages about whale or about what we've been talking about.
I've had an idea. an idea. You know how you've got that buzzer thing?
Yeah.
Right. I reckon we could actually make this. I want to... So when I press it, it goes, shut up. Like from the James Whale voice.
It'll
right.
be funny
so
a couple of times and then it'll get...
It'll become tiresome, wouldn't it? After a while. Okay. No, what we could have is... we could have a competition for when you press the buzzer, what it says.
Sounds a bit complicated for this show.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you take...
Yeah, get out of my... Could be randomised. Get out of my studio. Shut up, Ash.
If you had the nuclear button, which is get out of my studio, we could press it.
So, yeah, might be worth a go. But anyway,
you hate that idea, don't you?
No, it's amazing. Right, let's talk to Zoe in Norwich. Zoe.
Hey, hi Ash. Hi Andre.
Hello.
Hope you're okay.
Yeah, man.
We have been thinking about you here, especially you Ash, as well.
Oh, thanks, Zoe.
No problem at all. You have been in our hearts, as has Lady W as well. You were talking about earlier how the BBC report the protests that's been going on.
Or don't report them, yeah.
Well, they do.
There's 14 protests across the country tonight, apparently. But you won't know about it.
And I was at one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I was at the Brook Hotel, literally, coming up to 4 hours ago.
So where's that? What area is that in?
That's in Norwich.
So tell us what happened there, then.
Do you know what? I've been to 2 protests there, and with both of them, I am absolutely 100% so proud to have been there.
Why?
Why? Why? Because we were all united, we were loud, we were proud, we knew exactly why we were there.
It's almost like brought the country together, like the Second World War wartime spirit in a way,
do
isn't
you mind
it?
me asking, Zoe, because a lot of us haven't been on the protests, particularly for us because we work late at night, it's hard to get to these things. But what are the people like? I mean, who's there? Is it?
Was it mainly women?
Is it just? And I'm doing this deliberately, Zoe. Is it just skinhead far right extremists, or are there other people there as well?
I'll tell you what, I mean, it's there will be lots and lots of videos. I know there will be lots of videos of our protests. There was last time.
But they might be clamped down on Twitter with that new act. A lot of them were shut down. But was it mainly women? Because obviously the women go because then they can't be accused of being far-right thugs. It's a clever idea that it is a response to authoritarian regimes. Was it mainly women?
Ash, I'll tell you what, it was everyone. Everyone was there from our community. Women, children, fathers, grandfathers. We had an absolutely amazing veteran called Simon Bean who has fought for this country. He got up, he spoke. We're all really passionate people here in Norwich.
Did you get any agitators that tried to stir things up with their faces covered?
Do you know what? Right. Well, we were given a section by the police that we were not allowed to wear face coverings. Yeah. We don't care anyway because we 100% believe in what we're...
You should have gone... Zoe, you should have gone the burqa just to test. See what they thought.
Oh, good God, I'm in my menopause on a hot day like this. I had things to say, Andre. I got up both times and I spoke. I mean, it's like, I'll tell you what, though, Ash, Andre, the counter-protesters were brought just over the road from us the last time. They were literally behind. We had a row of police vans in front of us.
So the police were sort of guarding the agents provocateurs. They were guarding them.
The problem is...
They're sort of working with them, aren't they?
They are agent provocateurs.
Yeah, because they're working alongside with them. I mean, a lot of them do get state funding. They're literally getting funded from state quangos or councils. Are literally paid by the state.
I think we got...
Oh, sorry, Andre, go on.
It's just we're running out of time.
No, but she said she's found out something. What you found out, Zoe?
Well, we found out that the counter-protesters the last time were bought at a park just up the road from where we were. Yeah. The thing is, and as you probably remember, or you may not, Ash, I've spoken about my dad being, he's a retired Met policeman. Yeah. There are certain things, he's done many protests in his time as well, where he's had to police them. And counter-protesters and protesters have to have a mile distance. Otherwise, it's an incitement to riot. Yeah. And how I see it is the police are bringing these counter-protesters down, trying to incite a riot.
Well, we saw that in Epping. They walked them to the protest and then they actually called the police vans buses and took them home again.
Absolutely, and you know what? They did it the last time at our protest. They did it today.
What we need to do, Zoe. Look, here's my suggestion. I don't know what Asha thinks of this. Clearly, you are going to these protests, you're speaking at these protests and whatever. I think what you need to do is next time there's a protest, film some of it, make sure you have your camera in landscape so we've got it properly, and then why don't you come on Zoom and talk about your actual experiences? And if we can wave to the producers, get to take down your phone number, because I just think that would be a brilliant thing to do, and have you as a proper contributor.
Got footage of all of them.
Well, I think we should have Zoe as a proper contributor with footage. So what we're going to do, Zoe, we're going to refer you back to the producers. Do not hang up when I say goodbye. We'll note down your phone number and whatever and arrange for you to properly come on, because I think talking through some of that video footage with you on Zoom would be amazing.
First-person account as well is important, isn't it?
Absolutely. Right, do you want to give out the number?
Yeah, 0344 499 1000. We're going to take all of your calls in the next hour, and Daniel Nichols will be joining us down the line, so keep it talk. 0344 499 1000. Call us, message us. We'll be back after the news.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
This is the Late Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. Obviously, would have been the James Wales show last week, but unfortunately, James is no longer with us. Thanks for all your thoughts and prayers. Let's go straight to Lee on the phone lines. Lee is in Manchester. Lee, you're on Talk.
Are you all right, mate?
All right, Acker.
How you doing, Ash? You all right?
All right, how are you, Lee?
Yeah, not bad. It was just something that Alex Phillips heard before.
Yeah.
With Kevin O'Sullivan.
Oh, I saw that. I was listening live when Kev did this sort of investigation, and 50 of the...
Yeah, he went right round the... Well, I don't say he went right round the houses, but he went right in for it, didn't he?
Well, he did basically. He checked out 50 crimes in order, and it was all migrants, and every one was the person offended was a child, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and Alex basically, she sort of had sometimes you can see it live on air. She was almost in tears of frustration, and you can see it. I think the clips on the talkTV at talkTV on the Twitter.
You're shaking with anger, couldn't you?
Yeah, and that's the thing at talkTV. If people really believe what they're saying, which you won't get on many other places.
No, will you?
No. So what's your views on it anyway?
I believe everything that he said.
Yeah.
To be honest, mate.
Yeah. Because it's just straight from the heart, isn't it? There's no flanneling around.
I mean, I seen Alex Phillips shaking, and I thought, oh my God.
Yeah.
She's going to blow, isn't she?
Yeah, she has those every couple of weeks, but it's just because, the passion of the thing,
she's very...
But that's why people do, watch this channel, because people do believe what they're saying rather than think of what should be said.
Yeah, rather than mainstream media.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How are you after?
I'm all right, yeah. I'm all right. It's a very sad thing, and I have moments of reflection and sadness and that, it's sort of in waves, isn't it? But obviously...
I really appreciate it. I just thought...
Yeah, I did, yeah.
And I appreciate it as well. He was a good man.
Yeah, he was. Thank you, Lee. Thanks for joining us. And now we've got a little guest on, haven't we? Straight from up north, from the cobbled streets and the low doorways and the horses and all the horse poo everywhere on the we're wearing sparking her clogs on the corner. It's Danielle Nichols.
Very funny. Very cool. Yeah, these men with bicycles and Holvis loaves.
Have you got the bike up there now?
We used to go to old Mark Beckett's place. It was like top of the world.
Shut up, you. Can I just say, I just want to start the show by saying, for anyone who's feeling sad about James, I want them to know that all our love is with them. It's okay if you just loved him because you saw him on your TV screen. You're still allowed to feel sad, even if you didn't actually know him personally, because he was an amazing guy. And I just want to do a little Is it okay if I just
go for it, please.
A bit personal? So I've not told this story a lot, but basically, I stopped presenting to be a mum, which I'm proud of and was the right decision. But I was out of the business for about 15 years because my daughter died. And so what was just going to be a quick 5-year break while I had 3 babies, I had 3 babies close together, then became 15 years because she died. I wanted more children. It's obviously all very complicated. But I came back to the industry because I wanted to get back into television. Yeah. I was told by a famous agent that who was a woman, by the way, in her 50s, which makes this story even more shocking. She said, "Oh darling, you're the wrong side of 40 to be trying to relaunch your career. I don't know why you're bothering." So that's what I faced, and I bumped into Chuck, who put me on James's show,
and he said the same thing.
Yeah. James showed me such kindness and such love because He believed in me, he invited me back, he had me on. Or, I mean, maybe it was forced by Chuck, I don't know. But I just know that he showed me kindness. I know he spoke well of me because I ended up at a party once and somebody had said that James had said nice things to the bosses about me. So I just want to say, on a personal level, he showed me kindness.
He did help people out when they, were trying to get
like
in.
That.
Yeah, he
felt
did.
Like that. And in this industry, there's not a lot of that, is there?
No, not at all. He actually did relish doing stuff like that.
I felt like he backed me, and I enjoyed getting to know him, even though it was only for a snippet of time. It meant a lot to me. And when I did, weirdly, so I found out that he died, and this is another strange thing that happened. So my connection to James is through work, and then an hour after I found out that he died, I got a phone call from Good Morning Britain. I haven't been on Good Morning Britain for nearly 6 months now. I don't think I'd done anything wrong, but the bookers hadn't been ringing me.
It's because you're the wrong side of 40. I mean,
obviously. But it was so weird because
the phone stops ringing all of a sudden.
Shut up, you! Within an hour of finding out that he died, I feel like that was. I might be just being a bit woo-woo here, I don't really care. But in my heart, I felt like that was James's last little gift to me, because I'd not heard anything for months, and not like, it wasn't a big deal. It was like, okay, they've not booked me, it happens. But I'd been getting on every other month, I'd been getting in there, and then nothing for 6 months, and then he died, and within an hour, I'm on a train from Hull, weirdly, because I'd gone to have a night in Hull, on my way back to London to do Good Morning Britain, which meant, as you know, TV means a lot. I do this because I'm passionate about it, because I don't really earn any money. And
it was ITV where your main career was.
Yeah.
Was it with Madeley and what's Suzanne? Was it Madeley and Suzanne?
No, it was Kate Garraway and Ed Balls.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
The B team, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I felt like that was his last little gift to me. So if you're out there, James, thank you, because I know that you did show people kindness.
A lot, yeah. No disrespect, Danielle, but what was his involvement in any of that?
What do you mean? He put me on
did
his
it within it happened within an hour You're not listen. He died, and within an hour, GMB booked it. Yeah. There's no such thing as coincidence, Andre.
But he was rocking here.
But with respect, he was dead at the time you got.
No, but Andre, you're not listening.
People do things from the other side, don't they?
I could not get a break, and James put me on.
Yeah, but he put you on before that. He was dead, but
no, but that's what she's saying. Within an hour, Madeley was on the phone booking her.
He died in the heavens, where me and Ken believe he is.
Right. No, but let's just remind ourselves of the story. James Whale was nice to you in television. Got that bit. James Whale died, which was incredibly sad for all of us. After James Whale died,
within an hour,
you got booked by Good Morning Britain.
And they hadn't booked for months and months and months.
Being booked for months.
And then an hour.
But what is the connection?
Literally.
What is the connection between the death of James Whale and being booked on Good Morning?
This is my connection. If you believe
James did it. When you get up there, you got more powers, haven't you?
So you get to the pearly.
If you believe that the soul exists, I always say my husband has really.
That's interesting. Someone's just suggested James may have been holding you back. And that the reason your career took off again...
You get to the pearly gates and they go, Mr. Whale, MBE, real name Michael, Mr. Whale, MBE, we will now grant you whatever wish you want. And he goes, you know what I'd like? I'd like to see Danielle Nichols back.
It was after an hour, so he would have done the thing, probably talked to me the first thing. He said, Ash, I want Ash to do this.
I want Ash on for
Anyway, by the way, if anyone's getting offended by this horrendous argument, James would have loved this sort of thing.
He would have loved it. Do you know what? I know we're getting really deep, but I believe...
We're not getting deep. We just think what you're talking is rubbish. We have heard some tenuous connections to James Whale this week. And we have watched... Danielle, can I just say this to you?
Hang on.
We've watched a week in which people have claimed to be close friends to Whale who he A, hated, or B, never met, right? But this one is tenuous.
Yeah, I didn't know him. No, Andre, you're not listening to the...
I am listening to the story. Tell us again, though.
The only way that I knew James Whale was through presenting.
Yes.
Been wanting to get back on the screen.
Right.
No one would give me a break.
And he gave you a break.
He gave me a break.
Got it.
Okay, that was in real life.
Yeah.
Actually happened.
Got it.
I believe.
So when he died, after he died, then what happened?
I believe, because you know I've had spiritual experiences when my little girl died. I told you, I've felt her, I've seen her.
So the ghost of James Whale visited Ed Balls and Kate Garraway?
No, I believe that the soul does exist beyond this body. That's my personal belief. You don't have to believe it. I don't really care. I don't care if anyone believes me. But I believe that the energy of somebody exists. So, no, James doesn't walk up to pearly gates. He doesn't have a body anymore. That's weird. What I'm saying is the energy that is James Whale, right, his energy...
Yeah. But what is it they wanted to book you to talk about?
...was for me to get work.
What was it? What did they want to talk to you about?
It was about GP appointments.
Oh, right.
Okay. Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, well, James was right. That is one of... He hated GPs. He would have wanted that, yeah. I've no doubt about it.
I will tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen. There will never be another James Whale, but I think in the past couple of minutes, we've demonstrated the gusto that he brought to this very show.
That was a very James Whale moment,
I think that was our homage to James.
Yeah, it was.
So just to be clear, and I'm already in trouble for this, for saying that there are people who've just pretended to be friends with James on other channels, not on this one. But your story about James Whale was after he died, you got booked to talk about GPs on Good Morning Britain.
After not being booked for years and years.
It's amazing, Danielle.
The only connection.
Uncanny.
The only connection I had to
I'm
James,
shocked. We're all shocked.
I'm not pretending I was his best mate. I'm not pretending any of that.
He did love you, though. You always had a good hug, didn't you?
Yeah. My only connection to him was being on television. No one would give me a break on their show. Now, whether it was James's choice or whether he was told by Chuck, I don't know. I'll never know, and I don't need
Anyway,
to.
Look, we've caught you in the middle. Carry on with the end of your tribute. Sorry, we'll be quiet now.
If he didn't like somebody, though, he wouldn't have had... I know if he didn't like me, I wouldn't have been back on his show.
Or Good Morning Britain. Anyway, carry on with the tribute. Is that it? Have you got more?
That was it, because dare I say any more...
No. Well, we're going to say to you, Danielle. I mean, Danielle, look. Danielle, can I remind you of something? He brought you onto his show.
By the way, there's an iron in dressing room 2.
There is. I used it today. Yeah.
So he reminded. So he brought you into this channel. He encouraged you to do a show with me, which was absolutely phenomenal, and we hope to bring back. And your story about him was that you got booked to talk about GPs by Ed Balls after he died.
Yes, I did.
Well, I think we just need to go to a break now, don't we? Because I just don't know.
We're going to keep Danielle. We're going to talk to more stuff about Danielle.
He didn't even book you for my show.
All the papers. Yeah, at least we filled a segment there. That was really good. Anyway,
that was the most authentically James Whale thing we've ever done.
I love that. Yeah, we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
This is Talk, and I think we're bearing up reasonably well, despite the fact that this would have been the James Whale show. Rest in peace, obviously, James. But we've got Danielle Nichols. Danielle was incredibly close to James, and she used to appear on Good Morning Britain to talk about GPs on his behalf. But anyway, you've spotted something about Rupert Lowe on the front page of the Daily Star, haven't you, Danielle?
Oh, wow. Wow. Andre, you are only doing this because I am not in the studio.
But that is correct. That is correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone knows it's correct as well.
Because I would absolutely have you if I was sat where I... Ash, just give him a dig from me. Just a little...
Oh, apologies. On my list, actually, you're talking about Rupert Lowe.
OK,
Sorry.
Daily Star, for MP in Boaty McBoatfast. And the story is... Rupert Lowe tweeted, dinghies coming into Great Yarmouth right now. If these illegal migrants will be using every tool at my disposal to ensure these individuals are deported. Apparently, dipstick MP Rupert Lowe alerted the Coast Guard to a dinghy full of illegal migrants who were actually a team of British charity rowers. Waterfall, they say in the UR Daily Star.
Mind you, to be fair, in defence of
the paper of record.
In defence of Rupert Lowe, I mean, it was a group of big, strong men in a dinghy in the Channel. One would have assumed...
And a woman. And look, they had quite...
Oh, yeah, that's a woman.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it couldn't be a migrant.
Not with a woman
if there's one woman in there, it couldn't be a migrant.
No.
Yeah, it couldn't be. He should have known. The minute he saw one female in there, he should have gone, no, there's just no way. There's no way.
But there shouldn't be, you know...
But I mean, look...
Confusing Rupert.
The reality is, doesn't Twitter, Danielle, give... politicians an opportunity to disgrace themselves. Do you remember Ed Balls' day when he tweeted the words Ed Balls because he thought tweeting was searching? So he just he opened his account and the first tweet he made just said Ed Balls.
His own name.
And that was
He's searching his own name.
Ed Balls, and it got retweeted like 1 million times or something.
Oh no, I know. Yeah.
What's the most embarrassing tweet you've ever done?
Oh, do you know what? Well, the one that... Do you remember when we had the transvestite... We had a trans person on, and the whole of Twitter just went sick at us.
Oh yes, that person.
That was scary.
I mean, that was really bad. That person who claimed that we'd taken the audio and altered it to make her sound like a man.
Yeah.
And then it turned out that
she'd done it.
Frida.
She'd done it. Yeah.
No, it wasn't Frida.
It wasn't Frida.
No, it wasn't. No. But it was funny.
That was bad. Actually, I'll tell you something. We sent a message saying we were happy for the engineers to come round, because what's interesting is the engineers already knew what the problem was, and it was this quote-unquote lady who puts her voice through a changer to make her sound more like a woman, because despite the fact that she is definitely a woman, she sounds like a man, right? But she'd made it worse. So when she came on, she sounded like Barry White. But of course, because she was biologically a bloke, we weren't surprised. So it was only when she listened back.
Yeah.
And I got phone calls from The Guardian and all sorts saying, have you deliberately altered this person's voice to make them sound like a man? And you
then
think...
her quick throwaway message, because this went viral, didn't it? And then the quick throwaway message of, actually, it was a technical fault on my end.
Yeah.
It was just a throwaway. And you're like, oh, yeah, funnily enough, no one seemed to comment or see that tweet.
Yeah, well,
we all saw the other one.
It was amazing.
Yeah, we had threats and everything, didn't we? And not just that. I mean, like you said, aside from the fact we didn't know what she sounded like, so to us it didn't make any difference.
And also, and I don't want to just take the mick, but given it was a biological man, when it sounded like a man, that wasn't a big surprise.
Yeah, right? So we're always polite. We wouldn't say anything.
No, we didn't say, listen, my dear, you sound like a man.
But as well, Andre, the worst thing is, it's interesting how television works, because everybody thinks we have something to do with the tech. Like, the last thing we have to do with is the tech.
Yeah, not anymore, no.
We don't know what...
I'll tell you what. I went viral when I challenged the Islamic State to kill me. I offered a bounty of £50,000 on my own head.
Of course you did.
And they still haven't done it, yeah. People actually thought I was going to die. I mean, it was more of a... Is it
still standing?
No, I was trying to highlight the following point, that terrorists only attack innocent civilians, little girls and whatever. It was after the Ariana Grande thing and the London Bridge attack. So I said, here's my address, come round to my house and I'll give you £50,000.
Yeah, but hold on. Ross McWhirter did that, offered £50,000.
He did it to the IRA, though.
And they did kill him.
No, he didn't. No. What Ross McWhirter did...
No, hang on a minute. Do you know what went on here, don't you, Ash?
What?
There's no way Andre had £50,000.
Yeah. I wasn't worried anyway.
He would kill him when they came in, he didn't have the money. Have you got any stories that you're going to pretend that you found that Chuck sent you?
No, I actually genuinely had to find my own stories.
Wow.
Today. Chuck was on strike today.
So what's your first one you got for us?
I liked this one, but I think it's quite like only just happened because it's on my phone, but it's not in the actual
it's
paper.
fresh.
It's fresh off the press.
Breaking news. She's just going to go and pick up the breaking
Oh, there we
news.
go. That's professional. Let me just go through. Let me just go through the cupboard.
Oh, look, she's got snooker triangle
allegations.
earrings.
You'll like this, Andre.
Yeah.
Allegations. I've got to say that first. The Oasis Wembley gig. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Had a major security breach after what they assume, because again, allegations. 200 tickets of ticketless fans were sneaked in for cash via a disabled entrance.
Well, this, of course, happened at the final, the England, controversially. There weren't any police, and do you remember thousands of people? I was at that match. Ticketless fans.
Hey, but hang on a second, right? If you are the security team at that entrance, right, and you know you're going to be at that entrance, people were paying £500 a ticket, weren't they, to get in?
Yeah,
I mean, that's £100,000.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. And apparently, it was
big business.
Really organised to the point where there was a stamp put on the back of their hands, and this one ticket used, again, allegedly, over and over again. And then you were given this stamp on the back of your hand. So it was all very coordinated.
Well, it's probably just some person, I worked at Wembley once when I was younger. It's probably some person who's got a stamp or knows where to go, and he's made, a few grand in that night.
Yeah. Look, it's not the first time it's happened, if that's the case.
The only time I've ever broken a rule, and I can say this on Friday night, when Philip Ullman, do you remember the contributor, couldn't go to Arsenal on the grounds that it was Shabbat, the Jewish Sabbath, we used to always get the tickets, and there was a guy who vaped in the stadium throughout. It wasn't Asher, throughout the whole thing, but he was very good at blowing it. So the security knew there was somebody vaping, but they just couldn't work out what seat it was coming from. I'm allowed to tell that because Philip's not allowed to watch TV on a Friday night, so he'll never know. He'll never know.
Not allowed to watch TV.
No, he's not, because he's.
Well, no, you can have a time switch as long as you don't actually turn it on or off. Or
Matt Lucas said about that. Matt Lucas said that he used to go to Arsenal on the Sabbath, but he said basically the very orthodox people weren't there to be angry with you.
There was a guy back in the 70s who I knew. We used to call him General de Gaulle because he looked like it, but he was quite a religious Jewish guy, and apparently he used to wear his Aston Villa season ticket on his coat, so he wasn't carrying it; it's stitched in it. So technically, he wasn't carrying it, so he could go to the match, and it was just on display.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll tell you the other thing that happened at Arsenal. Do you ever remember Shooting Stars when Matt Lucas did the peanuts? Peanuts. Apparently that was a seller at Arsenal. Oh, come on! You must have watched the Shooting Stars Peanuts song.
He used to do a little film for Arsenal, like to show at the ground on the big screen, a 5-minute film, and they gave him a little box, I think, to watch the tickets.
I just remember, here's a baby. Remember that?
No, the Peanuts one's brilliant. They just play this really epic music, and he just stands there going, Peanuts! It's absolutely...
I used to sit in his seat with his brother, Matt Lucas, and he told me a story that Ainsley Harriott was sitting behind him and in front of him. And Ainsley Harriott turned around and went, "Oh, it's Matt Lucas," and got all excited and knocked Matt Lucas's walnut whip out his hand.
Why don't we get Matt Lucas on the show?
Well, he
works at Talk Sport, doesn't he?
Does he? Yeah, I think he does. I think he does. Yeah, I think he does a bit for Talk Sport.
Okay, well, I'm going to go to another front page, which is something...
Peanut. We got some peanuts here.
We've got the peanuts.
Peanuts! There's no video.
Peanuts!
Is he just saying peanuts?
I can't hear it.
There we go, yeah, so basically he just shouts peanuts. But here's one that I think's really important, Danielle. There's this Palestine Action Group that have been banned as a terrorist organisation for the damage that they did to that British RAF refueler.
And other businesses as well,
unbelievably, and it's no surprise here, and this really upsets me, people from Just Stop Oil are now joining forces with Palestine Action. And what that suggests is that these are just people, not rent-a-mob, which I think is a polite way of saying it. They're people who will do anything to bring down the British government, to bring down the British state, to destroy our way of life. And they'll jump on any bandwagon.
And some are rent-a-mob. Some are actually paid. There's companies that actually...
They don't care about the climate. They don't care about Gaza. They don't care about...
Like Greta Thunberg. She was the oil, Just Stop Oil. Now she's the Palestine. You know, it's just to jump on a bandwagon, and it's a money spinner for a lot of them.
Make your mind up. What do you feel more... I hate that. What do you feel passionate about? It makes you look a bit silly, because...
Well, I remember when I was at City Hall and Hugo Chavez came to visit in that disgraceful deal with Ken Livingstone where poor people in Venezuela were going to subsidise London buses. But anyway...
free petrol for buses, free diesel.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember.
But the people that turned up to protest in favour of Hugo Chavez were just all the same people that you see, you know, the ones outside the Israeli embassy, the eco ones.
Well, that's why they cover their faces, because they're at so many different... They don't want to get real, you know, discovered that they're just rent-a-mob that are paid and go to this protest and that protest. Because the thing is, there's so many protests. There was 14 today. They're too thin on the ground.
There was 14 today.
There was 14. You see, no one knows that, because it's sort of, there's a blanket on the news, you don't hear about it. There's 14 protests outside migrant hotels where there's been, you know, allegations.
More and more you do hear, where, you know, like people talking about how there's, I heard some rumours about terrible knife crime in Birmingham that's not getting reported on, and within Stoke-on-Trent, because
everything's shot up in those crime figures and sex attacks and
they
thefts.
reckon they're just desperately... I heard this a few months back, and they reckon they're just desperately trying to keep it on the down.
I don't understand.
But what's happened
It's so
today,
massive they can't cover it up.
With this declaration of actually these immigrants have... I just think it's just another... I don't know what they're playing at, because it's just another case of saying, look, we didn't tell you, you know.
Well, they're bringing in people, paying them, giving 4-star hotels, looking after them, giving meals, and they know that there's a lot of problems being caused to women and children and
here's the
men
bit
as well.
I don't understand, and maybe 03444991000 people can phone me up and help me. If I was... you know, the human rights lobby, if you like. So forget the government, forget lawyers. It's the human rights lobby. They're sat there in their figurative but not literal ivory towers and saying to themselves, oh my God, the people that we're bringing to this country are not all refugees. In fact, very few of them are. There is a major increase in crime. And even if there wasn't an increase in crime, we don't have the space to put these people. It's causing significant problems. I know what we'll do. Now, what I would do, and I think what Asha would do and what Danielle would do, is go, let's not bring any more. What they're actually saying is, let's make it illegal to mention the problems. What is that for? I mean, do people sit there...
Well, it's because they'd have to admit they got it wrong, wouldn't they?
But when you just say, let's just...
this question, Andre.
Yeah, go on.
Somebody is benefiting here, because it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't matter how you wrap it up. There are legal ways to come into this country as an asylum seeker. So if you're resorting to an illegal way of coming into the country, it isn't.
But if you look at, I think the benefit is so nebulous, because if you look at what Keir Starmer and David Lammy argued about the Chagos Island quote-unquote deal, where basically we gave away something we owned and then leased it back, which was madness. Can you imagine that, giving your house to somebody and then renting it back from them? Anyway, for a big price. But what their argument in favour of it seemed to be, and they seem to be genuine in this belief, because Mauritius was able to sue us through the international court, and both us and Mauritius complied with the ruling, that means that the Third World War is less likely, because China will resolve its dispute with Taiwan by going to court rather than invading. And they seem to genuinely believe that.
I don't think they do. I mean, do you remember when Starmer a few weeks ago said we risk it becoming an island of strangers? And then he did something which I've never seen any politician. He says, oh, you know what I said? I didn't really mean it. I've never seen that before. It's as if he's just a face and there's people running things and they said, oh, you better take that back. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever known a politician suddenly come on, oh, what I said last week, I didn't mean that? I mean, a bit strange, wasn't it?
bit strange.
No, it has happened once before when David Cameron forgot he supported Aston Villa.
Yeah, but that was just because his speechwriter got the wrong claret and blue team. It wasn't as serious as that one. And anyway, what other stories you got? Have we got to take a little break at this juncture? Let's take a break and we'll be back with Danielle, me and Andre on Talk.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is, this was the James Wales show. Obviously, it's not now because of James's untimely death on Monday. Obviously, our love goes to James Wales' family and indeed his friends, particularly Asher, who is...
And Peter and James, of course, and his family, and Lady W and Nadine,
who are,
course,
Asher soldiering on. And Danielle, who's soldiering on as well. She was incredibly close to James. They had a mutual interest in GP surgeries, which she has eloquently described.
So mystical how that happened.
We were just amazed by that. We couldn't believe
I'm glad it's tickled you so much. Yeah.
And thank you for all the messages who said that our argument with Danielle was very reminiscent of a James Wales show. I think we'd like to think that we learnt from the master. Anyway, Danielle...
Well, you know what? I like to bring something to the party.
You do. It's normally... You're one of those people when... Normally, most people bring to the party a decent bottle. You're more, you brought the Lambrini on this occasion, haven't you? You know, it's nice of you to have done it, but nobody wants it.
But it's a fine vintage of Lambrini.
Did you this week watch the Bonnie Blue interview with Julia Hartley?
Only a bit of it. I found it a bit unsavoury, but
Did you?
Well, but I didn't find it that, it's not that amazing now, is it?
She's the one who got thrown off OnlyFans for having sex.
Julia Hartley Brewer.
It was just
talking to Bonnie.
No,
Blue.
I found that interesting. Yeah, you're going to get me in trouble. No, but I mean the way it was just. So I did this because I'm an
Sorry, we've just been told.
Person.
Can we just stop the show for a second?
Same old sausage.
We've just been told. I mean, this is ludicrous. We've just been told by the producers to point out that when I said, is that the one who was thrown off OnlyFans for having sex with loads of men, that was Bonnie Blue, not Julia Hartley Brewer. I mean, how would anybody think...
What, are you saying she's still got the account?
How would anybody have listened to that and thought, I never knew Hartley Brewer was on OnlyFans?
I mean, I agree it's up to her what she does, but, Who,
Hartley Brewer or...
I didn't find it that shocking. Channel 4 put it on to try and be shocking, but it's backfired on them, hasn't it? With the advertisers.
I
mean, the thing is with her, right, so she's had sex with 1,000 men in 24 hours. Has she never been to Dundee, right? And there's loads.
Yeah, but she's making £1.5 million a month.
If you go to Platt Bridge...
You don't get that in Dundee.
If you go to Platt Bridge in Wigan, believe me, the women would defeat her there. Believe me.
You know what? Do you know what I found really odd that was... a big fault in the documentary was that after she'd done that event, she was sick for nearly 3 weeks with the flu.
I would have thought so. With the flu?
Now, that's exactly what I thought, because from like a practical perspective, the amount of germs that she was exposed to in that time... because
I think it was safe.
It's not just like being in a room full of 1,000 people.
It was safe sex. I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure there were sheets.
I watched the worst.
She could kiss him.
I watched the most embarrassing first dates ever when this bloke went, I had a girlfriend about 2 years ago, and I thought I was allergic to her. But as it turned out, I was allergic to latex. I discovered that when I had another girlfriend later on. And the woman went, what, both your girlfriends wore latex? And he went, no, condoms are made of latex. And I just thought that had it all, really, because now he's admitting he can't use them. And also, just the whole thing was...
You can get PVC ones and even some made of sheep's intestines.
It was awkward.
You can get latex-free.
It was awkward.
Yeah, they're a bit more expensive.
It was awkward, Danielle. It was awkward.
But I just thought, why did they brush over that? Because... what I'm trying to say is, okay, right, let's be honest. It turns me sick to my stomach, I'm not going to lie. She's a multi-millionaire because of it. You know, you do you, whatever. As Julia Hartley-Brewer put it, though, which was the nice bit, which she was talking about, essentially it's extreme, isn't it? It's an extreme porn star to the absolute extreme. But I just thought it was interesting that the documentary wanted to delve so much into it. And then they kind of brushed it, oh, yeah, she had flu for 3 weeks. She's been dead poorly. That's interesting. I
will tell you something. Safe sex aside, by the way, safe sex is only safer. If you have a flu-like symptoms 3 weeks after having sex, that can be a sign of HIV.
Yes.
Just throwing that out.
Exactly. And as well, it doesn't matter if you're wearing condoms. If, as she said, they're allowed to spit on her.
Oh, no, let's not. Let's not. I don't.
These are her words.
Yeah, all right. But she's...
Julia, and by the way... was said by Julia Hartley-Brewer.
All right.
She was just brilliant when she said, as a mother, and I thought, I just loved that she said that, because I was like, yeah, you want to go, what are you thinking of?
But the problem...
I mean, don't get me wrong, she's now a multi-millionaire.
No, but the big problem...
She's a nice girl, you know, when you hear her, she's a nice lady,
The big problem is, you have got a talent, and your talent is television presenting, right? I mean, you've got other talents as well related to being in the home or whatever, but the TV presenting is the bit in the public eye. Here's the big thing, right? I remember Elton John saying that the price he paid for doing the job that he wanted to do was he had to become an internationally famous rock star, right? What he wanted to do was play the piano and sing rock and roll, but he had to become Elton John as a result of it. What worries me is these people who become famous because of just extreme stunts, right? And the Instagram world where everybody is just so selfish and so self-centered. And also, a lot of these reality TV stars just end up with absolutely nothing at the end of it.
I don't care how much she said she's all right with it. And no, I'm fine, and I was fine, and everybody else. You know, out of everyone I know, she can take it. If you watch the documentary, she talks about being a very good dancer. I think she's a hard-working person. I think when she commits to something, she really commits to something. And I think as well, like publicity, you know that she couldn't actually sell the documentary.
Well, that's a surprise.
Not the documentary. She couldn't actually sell the video because the OnlyFans would not let her. There was some rule about contributors being paid, or I don't know, but basically the fact that they didn't have to pay these men
to perform release forms and all that sort of thing. Yeah,
it didn't matter.
Release forms.
Yeah, but it didn't kind of matter that. But I just thought it's interesting because now she's trying to kind of come and appear in all.
Right, so Danielle, Chuck, the producer, has put a question in our ears through these earpieces. I think it is the worst question I've ever heard. He wanted me to pretend that my question was, would you sleep with that number of men if it got you a slot on Good Morning Britain? Right. I mean, there's just no hope, is there?
Do you know what? Do you know what? I'm really proud of the fact that I never ever accessed the casting couch, but it's probably why I'm here with you guys right now.
Yeah.
That's probably right.
With that, yeah.
That's probably right.
It'd be much easier.
On which bombshell should we go to another story?
Yeah. Let's go another story. And tough checks on EU trips in the Times. British travellers.
No, the front page of the Times has got the worst remake of Brokeback Mountain I've ever seen. JD
Vance and Lammy have got this bromance going on. I can't believe it. Although I did say in What Just Happened, which you can watch on YouTube tomorrow and was on earlier, that he is quite a charm, even though he's thick as mince, you know. I mean, you've seen his master. He's quite a charming bloke, and you can see how Americans, you know, they love our English charm. He's been taken in and doesn't realise what a buffoon he is.
Also, those grace and favour houses are deliberately designed to make world leaders want to go to them.
Oh, is it Chevening, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is his grace and favour
in
cottage.
Kent, Chevening in Kent, and apparently the whole Vance family are over there. They've all been
and you get
fishing.
the security then as well, of course, with it. So there's probably that reason. But yeah, he can be charming. He obviously doesn't know him very well. He's also very well connected with the Chinese.
Yeah, that's right. He's the only one in favour of that international spy centre.
Him and No Brainer Rainer, they're all in favour of it.
I realise as well, my Oasis story the front page of the Sun.
Let's have a look.
Just have a quick look.
By the way, got that yet. It must be a big story because we haven't got it yet, but we'll get it. But yeah, that's Oasis. Tell us the story again.
The story about the Oasis fans.
No, like 200 fans got in, or was it 2,000?
Yeah, 200
ticketless
ticketless fans through the disabled access. Yeah,
and that's a lot of money that Liam and Noel have missed out on, aren't they? Because they were very expensive.
So is that the front page of the Sun or not?
No, this is the Mirror. Camilla and the Tory donors a yacht. This is Queen Camilla has enjoyed a free holiday on board a Saudi Tory donors' £30 million yacht. She was seen off Greece on Wafik Said Zenobia. Royals are meant to be apolitical. We know they're not. I mean, there was that suitcase load of cash Prince Charles had, didn't he? I don't know where it came from. Do your impression.
I didn't know where it came from.
I don't know how that ended up there.
I know, it must be terrible being on a yacht in Greece.
Ex-Lib Dem Norman Baker said this is not a good look. That was a Norman Baker. I remember he was all over the Professor David Kelly story, you know, that he hadn't killed himself and there was all...
It isn't a great look in general.
He got a ministerial position, and that was all forgotten about.
Have you seen that Camilla leisure suit?
I mean, just thought that. Is that a onesie? What the hell has she got on?
Queen Camilla.
I think it's a pink floral.
Why has she got a crown on?
I'm just trying to find it.
I think she's got a bikini on under it, and she. Yeah.
Anyway, look, we're going to take a little break and find out what she was wearing, and we'll be back with Danielle on Talk in a couple of minutes.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is Talk, and I just want to point out on the front page of the Times, there is an exclusive interview with Nicola Sturgeon entitled Marriage, Sexuality and My Arrest. Now, I don't know what's in that, but I would suggest to you that it may be very, very interesting indeed.
You know what? You know what I know? I've got that written down.
Oh, yes, it's ladies' night and the feelings, right? Oh, yes, it's ladies' night.
I've got it written down as one of my stories, apparently.
Right, just for legal reasons, because she might not actually say what we think she's going to say in the interview. Right, so let's just be careful.
She reveals her sexuality isn't binary. Apparently.
What does that mean?
It means it's quantum.
Meaning that she's neither identifies as a...
So she admits to swinging both ways. Well, that comes as no surprise.
Yeah,
let's just be clear.
That's what sexuality, not like as a person. But
sorry, I don't. That's what it means, doesn't it?
It means she likes boys and girls.
Well, I mean, when she was in the Crankies, she would dress up as a schoolboy.
Okay. So the fact that so I thought that was called bisexual. I didn't realise it was called non-binary pansexual.
No, non-binary means there's no connect. So
is she just up for anything?
She's not tied by what we say.
What colour on the rainbow flag is that one then?
She's not.
Well, she's definitely not straight, is she? Let's be honest. We've known that since about 1995.
But she's
Where's
not
the camper van gone?
So you can't say she's gay
or
she's
Is it still at her mum's house, the camper van?
No, we've never said... No, let's just be clear, Danielle, just to repeat back to you. We've never said she's gay, and we've never said she's straight. We really haven't.
That's what she's saying.
Even when she was married...
that's okay,
even when she was
what she is.
Even when she was married... Even when she was married to Peter Morell, we did not say she was straight.
Is that the bloke with the curly hair in the Crankies?
Not at any time did we
make... That was the guy with the curly hair in the Crankies.
No, it was that old bloke she was married to for a while.
Yeah, that was him, yeah.
They always go with an older one, don't they? Macron.
Anyway, we wish her well on all her...
Do you want to read a book about Nicola Sturgeon's sexuality?
We wish her well on a trip.
The idea of talking... I will tell you, I would rather have a vasectomy than talk about Nicola Sturgeon's sexuality.
Yeah.
I just flag up that she may have finally admitted it, and it sounds like she has. Right, that's it. By the Times.
Right, I've got another story here, and this is an interesting one. Ex-Superman actor says he's becoming an ICE agent.
Christopher Reeves?
No, he's not around anymore,
is
he? But ex-Superman actor Dean Cain has announced he's planning to join the US Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency known as ICE. Well, with his superpowers, that's really going to help out, isn't it? Because he's got to fly around along the border.
Is he still absolutely dishy?
Yeah, in an interview on Wednesday, he's still dishy.
Let's have a look.
Show the dog the rabbit. Can you see?
Oh, no, that's him as Superman. I want to see what he looks like now.
Well, he looks the same when he's not Superman, but with glasses, doesn't he? He has glasses.
I've got an immigration joke, but I don't know if I can tell it. I'll work out in the break.
Probably not. It comes after he released encouraging members of the public. It's like when Elvis joined the army. Kane played the role of but he's not. Christopher Reeve, for me, is the Superman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's no one else. And Lex Luthor.
To be fair...
Gene Hackman, amazing.
That's our era, but for I'd say people in the 30s, they would say it was.
Yeah, but no wonder they've turned
people in the 30s,
that.
like you and me, Danielle.
Oh yeah.
What's she doing?
Anyway, so that's a phone call has flooded in. We've got loads of calls there, but this one is Yasmin the Witch. Yasmin.
Hi. Hello, Yasmin.
Hi, darlings. I'm just so sad about James, and I'm sending Nadine lots of love and prayers.
Yeah, we all are.
And the thing I'd like to talk about tonight, if I'm able to, is how spirit get in touch with you after the past. Sometimes things that happen are lights go on and off, a TV can turn on and off.
You can get on to Good Morning Britain.
Yeah, you can be driving your car and
you can be invited to a TV studio to talk about GPs. All of them.
Yes, Andre. Yes. Because guess what? You don't know everything.
Wait, she's still doing the list. Yasmin, carry on.
Sorry, go on.
Your radio can turn on and off, but it can also give you meaningful songs when you're driving, such as Lady in Red. That's
and the whale rap.
For Sunday. Yeah. Seeing robins.
Fog on the Tyne.
Seeing robins or butterflies, when you go into sleep, hearing the person call your name.
That's a bit scary.
Sneezing or shivering, toys being strewn around.
What sort of toys?
Any kind of toys.
Adult or child?
No, usually children's toys.
Oh, right, okay.
Meaningful words spoke by a stranger that's an angel that comes in to give you comfort. Yeah. Seeing a lookalike in a crowd, and
Phil Mitchell.
The other thing is that I've really heard about, and people have told me about this because I used to, readings. Mm-hmm. The phone ringing and it being the person on the other end of the phone who's passed. Now, that sounds absolutely strange, but it's absolutely true. Items disappearing.
That'd be a long-distance call, wouldn't it?
Yeah, items disappearing and reappearing. Dogs and cats staring at something.
Yeah.
The other thing is...
Babies do that as well, babies.
Have you ever... Did you hear about that amazing case? Did you hear about that amazing case of a girl...
Amazing case.
A girl whose, I think, dad had died, and she was texting her dad's old number, which she knew he no longer had because he was dead. But actually, a bloke bought the phone number randomly in a shop whose daughter had died. And she was actually sending these messages, and apparently he was very, very encouraged by it.
But did he find out?
Can I ask you a question, Andre? Have you tell the truth now? Because I know you just do this on purpose just to annoy me. But have you not ever been falling asleep and heard someone go, "Oi," or Andre?
Yeah, I've done it on air.
Or like a knocking sound. Like
when I'm on air, he fell asleep once, and I went, "Oi."
Tell you about
it happens to me all the time. Like
Danielle, let me
But you live in a house with 5 other people.
No, Andre!
Let me explain about the knocking. The knocking is a spiritual doorway.
It's that woman that Harley Brewer interviewed.
But you never answer it. You ask for the angel's protection then, because it's not what you think. But you do hear your name shouted, or somebody saying, or you can even hear a phone going off when you're going to sleep. That is a spiritual doorway, but you ask for angelic protection.
Hold a minute.
Hold on, Yasmin. Danielle's shocked.
The knocking sound is not your angels. That's scary.
Danielle, I don't want to be crude, but you live in a house with teenage boys. That knocking sound at night has got nothing to do with angels. I guarantee you.
Could be a succubus.
Right, have you never had that? Just as you're falling asleep? No.
No.
Yeah, I have that.
I have that all the time.
You do that, yeah. I've done that.
The thing is, you smell the aftershave, or you get a spiritual bouquet of flowers as well in a room where there's no perfume. That's another big thing. Yeah. And the other thing is, always remember this: we are humans in a body, but we've got a spiritual side, and that spiritual side can't be denied.
The soul.
Yes.
The soul.
Thank
you, Yasmin. That was fantastic and comforting at the same time.
By the way, just somebody, Alison in Dorset, has said that she's trying to nod off and we keep shouting too loud and waking her up. Oi! 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 Alison! Oi! There we go.
Have we got a little break here?
No,
we need another caller. Let's go through the papers.
No, it was meant to be going through the papers until Yasmin, the teenage witch, got in touch.
Eco mob to join Gaza protests in the Daily Mail. And now stop all we're talking about that. Militant eco activists have jumped on another bandwagon and they're going to support the banned group Palestine Action, which is now a prescribed terrorist group. You can go to prison for a long time. It's interesting what's going to happen with these people that are now facing court. So, yeah, that's that. Well, we talked about that.
Hang on a second. The Times has got the best cheese from Aldi to Waitrose.
29 best foods from Aldi to Waitrose. So this is a cheese. What is your favourite cheese, Danielle? If you have to live on just one cheese, what would it be? Which one?
I like camembert melted.
Camembert, when you go to those restaurants and they bake it, why can't you just buy it at home, bake it? It's just the same.
You can.
Yeah, well, then just do...
What's your favourite cheese?
Here's a mad idea, Andre. You can.
Okay, well, normally in restaurants it's stuff you can't make at home unless it's
Laughing Cow,
unless it's Miller and Carter. But anyway.
Oh my God! You literally just buy it, Andre. You cut a couple of little slits in the top and you put it in.
That was the point I made. That was the point I made. Right, my favourite cheese. I don't really like cheese, but I do like a bit of Parmesan on my Italian food.
On your feet.
No, that isn't
Parmesan.
cheese. That's not real cheese. No, actually, the stuff on my feet is real cheese. And when you're next in, I'll make you a sandwich with it. How does that sound? How does that sound?
It's got a bit of Branston pickle.
No, you're all
We've
right,
got a nice... Hey, Danielle, we've got a clip of you and the great James Wells, because we're going to play a few clips. We found one with you in. Let's have a look at this one.
Oh, yeah.
I have had that dream that feels like... But anyway, let's not. So I'm going through my...
hang on, let's. What is the dream that feels like?
You feel like there's a ghost. Do you remember that lady that was on this morning?
A
Do you
succubus,
remember that?
they're called. A succubus.
Is that what it's
They
called?
make love to you while you sleep, yeah.
I've had a very strange experience, but I'm not going to go so far as to say, but it was very strange. It was very strange.
Yeah,
However, it's probably not for right now.
No, it is for right now. Because honestly, we're after midnight.
Giving him exactly what he wants. I know, but I've always promised I'll be true to myself. That is a true thing. A weird thing happened to me.
I've had the same. Me and Ash have had the same thing. Together. I mean, it is weird.
I've been succubus.
It was wonderful, though. It was really nice.
It is really nice, isn't it?
I bet it was.
Was it a woman? Was it a female or a male?
A guy, yeah.
It was a guy. And what did the guy look like?
You don't see.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see anything.
But it was just the feeling. Yeah.
I just wonder if it's like your brain remembering, like
the good times.
An erotic dream.
Yeah.
It felt very, very real. It was very strange. And I woke up and straight away told my husband about it.
And
he was just happy that I was in a good mood.
He was there.
Yeah, he was lay at the side of me. And I woke up and said, the weirdest thing just happened to me. It felt so real, but I wonder if that's just because your brain is so clever.
And did he say...
If you're remembering things...
I'm so sorry. What's his pet name for you?
Boo.
I'm so sorry,
I should have woken you up.
I should have woken you up.
Yes, no.
They're getting very good at it.
Was he jealous? He must have been a bit jealous.
Well, no, he was just glad that I was in the mood that morning.
Oh, well, there you go.
I think we should get them on regularly.
By the way, I was in Greenface that night because we were talking aliens and people used to go, we're doing aliens, paint your face green. And I go, what for? What? Oh, we're doing Zippy tonight. Paint your face. We'll get someone to paint. It wasn't even a professional makeup artist. By the way, that was Nobby Holder's wife. Old Nobby Holder from Slade. His wife used to be one of James's producers back in the 80s at Central Weekend Television. He used to do that. It was one of the first shows with an audience, where they'd all shout. It was on a Friday night, I think, Saturday night Central Live, and it was the audience all arguing, and then Nicky Campbell was on it, and Whale was on it as the host, and it used to really kick off. And I remember James said this story that they were crossing the road at... well, it would have been outside the Rep Theatre where Central TV was, this Broad Street. And they were
I remember that.
And a car nearly hit them, and they went back, and Nicky Campbell said to Joelle, goes, who do you think would get top billing in the headlines if we were both killed?
Genius.
I remember that big old building on Broad Street. I know what you're about.
Yeah, it's still there. I think it's still...
So, just to be clear, in the middle of the night, you thought a ghost slept with you, and then your husband was in the bed. Oh,
it happens all of the time.
Just so
it's a succubus. They're quite well known.
No, it happens when he's not there.
He's got one of those. He's got one. You know those condoms.
He's a footballer. They're all like that.
You know those condoms for people that have premature ejaculation that have.
No, I don't know about that. Tell us about those. How'd you get them? Do you have to have a prescription?
They have anaesthetic.
Do you have to have a prescription?
They have anaesthetic inside that numbs the sensation.
No, I don't know.
He's turned it inside out, hasn't he?
Oh my God! I swear to God, it happens to me all the time.
I know it does.
And
I believe you.
I don't even really care if anyone believes me. Now I've got to a stage in my dreams where I actually consent to it.
Do you not ever say I've got a headache? Not tonight. I've got a headache.
Yeah, baby.
So when you're asleep, you're just having a wild romp round some forest or something.
Andre, I don't know what to tell you. No, it's not like that. It's like the person is in the bed with you.
Mansion.
And you've never considered, and Danielle, just to say, you have never considered the possibility that it is actually the man you're in bed with.
No, because
he's not like
that. When he's not there and I'm in bed on my own.
And it feels much better, different, doesn't it?
That'll be the neighbour creeping in.
Yeah.
That'll be Derek from
Anyway,
number 40.
look, Danielle, you're going to be here next week, aren't you?
Yes, I'm going to be here next week.
Fantastic. Well, that was great doing the papers with you, and thanks for all your memories and stuff about Whale. In the next hour, we're going to be talking to Georgina, Graham, Robert, Kevin, Liam, Jill, Rocky, James, Cindy, and you. 0344 499 1000. It's Talk. It's me and Andre at Virtual Ash.
At Andre JP Walker.
And yeah, we'll be back in a couple of minutes, so give us a ring.
Yeah.
across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
We have got through this relatively well. This is the first show back since the death of James Whale. It's been, I think you've done well, Asher. You've held it.
I mean, you know, it's a tough one, isn't it? But, you know, when the red light, it helped Whale out. When the light's on, it is therapeutic. And listening to all these people phoning in with their memories and watching all these clips, of which we've got another one that we're about to play. And this is a classic one, because it was for the, was it the coronation of the king, and there was a quiche being made. And I actually, what I did, because a lot of people don't know I'm quite skilled in the culinary department, so I actually whipped up the same recipe, and we had Aldo Zilli come in and try my quiche, and he was quite impressed.
That is really nice, Aldo. I think the pastry could do with a bit more browning, don't you?
Well, I'm not used to the ovens. Aldo, what do you... Oh, show Aldo the pastry.
Sorry, I
want Aldo's view.
Do that. I'm sorry, I've dropped a large lump on the floor.
How's the pastry, Aldo?
Oh.
Yeah, it could be with a bit more cooking.
Hang on, just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute.
It's soft.
What the flipping heck is that? What? Liar! Liar!
Fraud!
You've honestly, I am so. I'm so sorry.
What market did it come from?
Yeah.
How many years? If we played a classic,
I did make it.
If we played a classic James Whale video every Thursday and Friday, how many years would it be before we had to go back to the start? It'd be like 50 years, wouldn't it?
Well, I thought that because, you know, radio signals travel through space for eternity, so you can listen to all our shows out in space at some point. You know, there'll be aliens millions of light years away in space listening to me.
Doesn't it get lesser and lesser as it goes further?
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's incredible. So when we first started, John Major was Prime Minister. That's how long ago it was.
John Major.
Yeah, John Major. By the way, have you seen how thin Lammy is? He must be on that, you know, fat jab. Because, I mean, only last week, he was like the Michelin Man.
Well, have you seen Queen Camilla? I thought it was Mick Jagger. But,
no. Where's Emu?
Where's Emu?
Anyway, Rocky's rang back. Rocky. He's in Weymouth now. Hi, Rocky in Weymouth. What do you want to say?
Hey, how you doing?
We're all right, man. He was actually named after Rocky, you were telling us last time, I remember.
Yeah, I really am. First of all, I want to say my condolences to all of you about Mr. Whale.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
And his missus, I hope she's doing okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of messages with her. You know, it's tough for her, but you know, she's.
Have you actually spoken to her since?
I've had messages. I don't know if I've spoken to her.
No, because she phoned in last night.
Oh, well, last night I spoke to her for 20 minutes. Yeah, of course.
But I mean, aside from that, have you messaged her?
No, I've just been messaging. Yeah, but she's doing all right. Yeah, she was out with her daughters last night.
Yeah.
Is that it, Rocky?
I didn't know.
You had a few interactions with Whale, didn't you, over the years?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he meant a bit to me growing up, to tell you the truth.
Just a bit.
I know Mr. Whale himself was dyslexic. I'm quite severely dyslexic myself, and as a kid, I felt quite alone with that. So when I heard that Mr. Whale was dyslexic, it meant
he was a pioneer. I mean, he was very eloquent. He could just give off the spiel just like that. Have you got other talents that make up for your dyslexia?
I'm quite good at being strong and lifting weights and doing a bit of boxing. Yeah, I know a name like Rocky.
Yeah, because it's a physical thing. Yeah, often coordinated. Well, your name's Rocky as well.
Can I just give you a piece of advice if you're dyslexic?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if you struggle with reading, there is a really, really simple thing to do. There are loads and loads of
Go to school.
There are loads and loads of AI searches here. Yeah. I've got Perplexity AI, which admittedly cost me 20 quid a month, which is a little bit expensive. But my reading's not that great. I'm not dyslexic, but I've got very poor reading. So all I do is I just put the documents into Perplexity AI. You can do it with other ones and go, read this to me, and it just reads the document.
The thing is, the great whale, you know, he said he was dyslexic, but I remember about 20 years ago, he had some contact up north from where he used to work, and it was like a carpet shop, you know, an advert for a carpet shop in like Newcastle or something. There'd be this script, and you have to read it all within 30 seconds, and it was like really low, and you'd have to put, you know, in, oh, I'm sure you're coming about the carpet, and he'd have this sheet, and he'd read it, and it perfectly. And get it all in 30 seconds. So he's so dyslexic, but then he'd read this thing. But I think he never gave me my 20 quid. He used to go in the old talk.
But I think a lot of people who struggle with reading, and I'm one of them. It's actually long. It's like a book that's the problem. Yeah. So I mean, it's attention
span, maybe. But that's different to dyslexia.
I can pick that up without any difficulty and read it.
Yeah, but that's not dyslexia. Dyslexia is the shapes, and you can't.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. So my problem is I just get quite fatigued if I read something.
Yeah, that's a tension thing. Yeah.
Yeah, when I had a chat with Mr. Whale a couple of times, I made him chuckle, actually, because I rang him up and I said, when I was 13, I remember you talking about James Whale's condoms on the TV show.
The Late Night Entertainment Pack, the James Whale,
That's it. And I think I made him chuckle about that, so it was a nice little...
Did you ever get one? Because they're worth a few. They're like a Blue Peter badge equivalent.
I was about 13 at the time, mate.
Yeah, I know. But I was as well, but we were all collecting them, weren't we?
Were you?
Yeah.
I was about 18, actually, when I first started. So you must be about 48 now, I'm guessing.
I'm 49 now, and it's quite funny because I used to stay watching that programme late at night and I'd keep the telly down.
Well, 10 million people did. It was one of the biggest late night shows because there was nothing else on, and it was a really good show. So you had a double whammy of audience.
I don't want to be inside baseball here, but nobody in the UK gets 10 million viewers for anything now, do they? And never will again.
No, I mean, this was at 1 in the morning as well, so it was massive. I remember
hang on, that's a fifth of the UK population.
Yeah, back then it was, and also, obviously, it can only be adults, so it's even more than that, really.
Yeah. Well, it's probably not a fifth. It's probably, but it's not far up. No, I bet 50 million adults. I bet it was.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there would only have been 30 million. It would be bigger than that. So they gave him the slot, saying, "Oh, this won't work," and it became massive, obviously. And
do you know the other thing is about Whale? I'm going to say this now, right? If you ever meet Terry Christian, he is incredibly bitter. He's a bitter and angry man, right? Whereas Whale had his time in TV, it came to an end, and he didn't care. And then this came on, which is kind of a hybrid of radio and TV, and he was perfectly happy. He was never bitter like Terry Christian.
Terry Christian was all happy-go-lucky. And I asked him this once, and he didn't like it, and he called me a prat. Hey, you prat, you're always going down your golf club. I never played golf in my life, apart from pitching. But I said to him, Terry, what is it? Because you're all happy-go-lucky on the word, and now you're a very bitter and twisted man and all that. And anyway, I never got an answer, just got a bit of abuse. What else, Sir Rocky? What else you were going to ask something?
I just wanted to say, from my teen years, I think Mr. Whale was quite a special man to me, really, because, when I found out he was dyslexic, it actually perked me up and gave me confidence.
When did you find out?
We already talked about that bit.
Well, I found out when I was about 8 years old.
No, when did you find out that... Sorry, but it's not relevant when you found out. It's relevant when you found out he was dyslexic.
Oh, it was relevant to Rocky.
Years ago, I remember him mentioning it on the TV years ago.
Fine. I was going to say, when you were dyslexic, it's not as important.
Anyway, thanks, Rocky. Let's have a chat to our friend Cindy, who's in Michigan, and it's a place called Pigeon.
Hi.
Cindy in Pigeon.
I want to, yeah, that's right. I want to say my heart goes out to you guys, especially you, Ash.
Thanks, Cindy. Well, you knew him quite well. You were speaking to him for years, weren't you, Cindy?
Yeah, he called me his American correspondent, and I want to say that really made me feel touched and special.
And he always wanted you on video. He never said that to any other callers, did he? He always wanted you on video.
Yeah, now I'm used to it.
Did you ever do videos in your that's none of my business, is it?
Oh, and she did do that as well, didn't you, Cindy, back in the 90s?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. And I want to share a special memory.
Does it relate to GPs? Because if it does, we're not interested.
Go on, Cindy.
If it relates to GPs, because that was the most tenuous one I've seen so far.
Well, there was one time when James was talking about being on OnlyFans, right? And
he was never off it.
So I rung up, right, and I had made small bills of about just $60. So I called up, got on video, and said, I would pay to see you on OnlyFans. And he busted open his shirt and started dancing really sexy in his chair.
Did he?
And
I must have blocked that out of my mind.
Yeah, you were there.
But he had a very hairy chest, didn't he? He had hairless legs. He had no hairs on his legs, but a very hairy chest.
So he had no hair on his head, no hair on his legs, hair on his chest.
Very hairy chest. Yeah, very hairy chest.
And here's the sweetest part about the story. He said, you take that money and give it to charity. So I bought a very big, large bag of dog food and took it to the shelter.
For the humans?
Well, he would have loved that because, of course, he loved dogs more than people.
Oh, the shelter for dogs?
So do I.
Oh, my God. Cindy, I thought you meant you went to the homeless shelter and you went to the homeless shelter and fed them dog food.
No.
My God, I thought standards had dropped in the United States of America. Can you imagine that? I lost all my friends in Nam. Have this pedigree.
Well, no, I mean, no, they eat. In America, it's well documented that they eat their pets. Yeah, Donald Trump, actually, it was confirmed they do eat their pets in America.
Oh, well, some people do. I just can't say.
Cindy, you know, this idea of the shock jock, you know, how popular is it in America? Because it did start with
massive,
people like
it?
Howard Stern.
Yeah, it's
I think that James Whale, he was the original. Next was Howard Stern, but James Whale was the first. Unfortunately, I didn't hear of James Whale until I tuned into talk.
Because there's been some debate about whether he invented the genre or copied it from
I'll tell you what he did invent. He invented the top man, the in-store DJing.
There is no debate on this. He was the first. And you know that, Ash, and you were alongside of him, so you too were amongst the first. You were a team. 30 years. I can't say how, like, you must be so strong, Ash. You have such a stiffer upper lip, and you're so strong.
It's not the only stiff thing he's got.
I know it hurts. These days, right?
Oh, he almost put my eye out the other day when he stood up.
40s, right?
No, there's stuff you can get now for that. Hey, look, listen, Cindy, thanks for your call. We've got another great clip of, apparently, it's me eating cake. Let's have a look. See what...
It's making me feel sick. I'm sorry, I'm not joking. It really is making me... Look at this. Go over there. Give me some...
Well, what were you saying, man?
No, get your greasy hands off my coat, for goodness sake. Oh, this is falling apart. No, your hand's greasy. Oh, for goodness sake.
I don't know what that was about. Oh, we got more. Oh, we got me. I don't know what that was about. I can't remember it, but it looked like I was eating cake like a dog out of a dog bowl, which is interesting.
Yeah, for those listening on radio who just heard, it's making me sick.
Yeah, it was me sticking my face in the cake on a plate.
That was the whale gag reflex.
Oh, by the way, here is another video, and this is, because this is all new stuff, this is James celebrating the coronation of King Charles III.
Yes.
Cue the music.
Shall we extol thee, who are born of thee? Wider still and wider.
Stop!
Oh my word! No.
Stop!
What's happened here?
What the frigging heck is going on?
No. Sorry.
Who are you?
You're not a royal.
I haven't No, hang on. This is not happening.
What?
Right, sit down. I'm not having this.
I've not seen you in ages.
First of all...
we've only got to wider still and wider.
I'm sorry about this, Sue, but I can't. Come and stand over here behind me because you look like a cretinous moron over there.
He's probably saying that. Do you think it's because you think you're putting weight on and you're upset about that?
How dare you?
I am very annoyed, and I'll tell you briefly, Sue, why. Because I am the only one who seems to realise Harry and Meghan wanted a different life. They are not, as the press are Do you know?
No,
I go away for a day and look what happens. I mean,
so that was pre-MBE. So he didn't. So he was being nice about the king.
He could get the MBE.
No, he didn't.
That was Sue Pollard and Lizzie Cundy for all those listening on the radio. But,
right, well, I reckon before we go to another call, why don't we go to a break, or should we? I'll tell you what. But let's give out. We've got 2 slots available. 03444991000.
Yeah, we got Steve, Graham, Bob, Kevin, Liam, James, Jill, and maybe you, and some more whaley old videos back in a couple of minutes.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, yes, this is Talk. I'm not sure what's happening to the visuals. Doesn't matter. We're going to get straight to the calls anyway. Let's go to Steve in Walsall.
Steve.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I'd like to just...
Are you on hands-free, Steve?
Pardon?
Are you on hands-free?
No, I'm on my mobile.
All right.
I'd just like to give my condolences...
Just in an echoey room.
He's on the can.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about, man?
Well, what I want to talk about is it's been brought to my attention that every 47 minutes a millionaire or a billionaire is taking all his money out of the country.
Wow.
Which represents 1/3 of the country's tax revenues.
That's right, yeah.
If that's going to carry on, where on earth is this country, this government going to...
It's a hell in a hand. But not only that, it's also not only are people, entrepreneurs leaving, businesses are deciding not to invest here because there's no tax breaks, industrial energy. It's the most expensive in the world.
There's an old saying in Conservative politics, the other guy is you. So when people go, oh, I want my furlough scheme, someone else is going to pay for it, always remember the old phrase, the other guy is you. When they say tax rich, I'll tell you what. Let's just remind ourselves. In fact, I don't know how much it is, but let's just ask this: how much do I need to earn to be in the top 30%? To be in the top UK 30%. This is going to shock you, because here we go. It's just looking it up now. Apologies for it taking a while. Yeah. You would have to earn over 31,000 a year. Now, can we agree that the top third are rich by the standards of most people? £31,000 a year is the amount you'd have to earn pre-tax to be above,
which is half the American average wage.
Well, I met a man once a few weeks ago.
Did you?
And he I mean, it was a meeting of chance, really. And he said to me, he instructed all his legal people, all his accountants, if Starmer got in power, to move £250 million out of this country because he was not going to be any part of Starmer's tax revenue.
Yeah. Well, there was a guy who sold, I think it was London's most expensive house. It was 350 million. He's leaving. There's lots of people leaving the UK.
The other problem is with the wealth tax, right? So this is a fundamental issue with the wealth tax. So most people's wealth is tied up in two items. Forget your car because the resale value is not that much. It's your house and your pension. So imagine I was to say to you, you are a millionaire, say, and that is comprising an £800,000 house, which is not that unusual in the south of England now. No, actually, let's go 50-50. £500,000 house, £500,000 pension fund. If I say I now want 10% of your wealth, you have to come up with £100,000. Now, how do you actually do it? Well, the obvious way to do it, you don't sell your house. What you do is you draw down from your pension fund, so it causes a sale of shares and other securities and equities and all that sort of thing. So fundamentally, what happens
like the farmers, isn't it?
People just start selling off their shares, and the stock market goes down, which leads to more selling. So the stock market goes down. The reality is, if wealth was cash, it would be easy, right? But wealth quite often... So I don't know how much Asher's worth, but one would assume his net worth is related to his flat. So if you were to say to him, you're worth, say, £400,000, I don't know how much a flat's worth in his area, we're going to take 10%. That presupposes he can find £40,000. Well, that means he may have to sell it. Who's going to buy every house in the country?
Well, this is like what's happened with the farmers, isn't it? You know, they know... And, you know, there's already farmers that have actually committed suicide in order to beat the deadline so they can hand it to their family without the... which is unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, to actually be driven to that.
The way things are going in this, the way things have gone in this country, I find it absolutely unbelievable.
It's crazy.
It is, Steve. Thank you for your call. Let's go to James in London. James.
Hello, boys.
All right, man.
He was on speaker and then picked up, didn't he? You just heard him do that.
No, that's all right. I don't mind that.
That's a pro trick.
Don't complain. Calm down, brother.
Man.
I've got no namesake for you, man. I just want to send my condolences to.
Thanks, James.
We're going to have a chat or what?
Yeah, let's have a chat. Go on, you start then.
What, Governor?
Right, what I want to talk about is what's going on in London.
Yeah.
Go on.
I know it's central town, but I live in Tower Hamlets.
Yeah.
Just round the corner of the Britannia Hotel.
Yeah.
Dropping 400 migrants in. Yeah.
I think it's the most populous, densely populated place, Tower Hamlets. And it's growing unbelievable, like 20% a year, something ridiculous like that.
Well, I've lived here in 1971.
Yeah.
I've lived here.
So you've seen it totally transform.
Amazingly. I'm one of the few left.
Have you been to any of the protests outside the hotel in your area?
No, I walked down there the other week and I called in, what's his name? Peter Carwell. Called in to him, he played the message. Oh, you know, Dave Bowes, he played the message.
Yeah. We're showing the hotel now, the Thistle, in the Barbican, this is.
No. The one in the Britannia down at...
Canary Wharf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went down there. There was a woman outside there.
Yeah.
And her mother scooter. She was with her grandchildren.
Yeah.
She was originally from Edinburgh. Lovely. Anyway, she just had a simple sign on the front of her mobility scooter, and it said, "Save our children."
Exactly, and that is the message. That's what they're not far-right thugs. They're worried about their children being attacked or sexually assaulted.
By the way, can I just say to you, the reason why the people protesting against the migrants are not allowed face covering, whereas the anti-fascist or anti-racist brigade are allowed to wear face coverings, is very simply this. You'll see a guy in blue a police officer in blue. He's an intelligence officer. He will be filming the faces of all the protesters. That's so the new police intelligence unit can put that together with social media and make a list of people who oppose the British government's policy. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do anything to these people, but they're developing that intelligence file anyway.
Yeah, and they already know all the people in the masks because they brought them to
Can I speak to you? Speak to you a minute. Is he a special advisor? All the geezers around here ride about in face masks anyway on fast scooters, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You should be not allowed to wear masks.
You know what I mean? Get out about on the streets. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, no, you're right. You should ban it. I mean, you know, in medieval times, you could get executed for going out with a blackened face, you know, because it was meant you were up to no. What about the phone theft? Have you got a lot of criminals on the e-bikes with the masks on around there? You have, haven't you, around that?
Phone theft? Is that all you're worried about? Phone theft? E-bikes, yeah. Yeah, they're around here.
And they go like 40 miles an hour, these things. They're illegal, but...
What's going about now? They're shooting about water pistols. You know what I mean?
I saw that. They shot water pistols. I think there has been some arrests at some obviously Jewish people who were looking, as they say, Jewish. They were spraying them with water pistols, and it is getting a bit like that. We saw Jewish comedians cancelled in Edinburgh.
What's the point of the water pistols?
Well, they were just filming it and squirting.
The point I'm trying to make, the special advisor, the point I'm trying to make is the people in East London walking about on the bikes and electric bikes, water pistols, saying, we've got acid and
Oh, I see. They do that, yeah, with the acid.
Give us your stuff, or we're
well, apparently we are the acid attack capital.
It's a water pistol. You don't know, do you?
No, well, you don't know, and it's a worry.
What are you going to do? You're going to give him or not? You're going to give him or not?
Well, you are, aren't you, if you're sensible, and that's terrible. And now they've got actually official policy, mind the grab. Rather than arresting and policing it and getting rid of it, which doesn't happen in any other countries, we've got stickers now saying mind the grab, and they're putting the responsibility on us. Anyway, thanks for your call. Let's go to Jerry in Burton-on-Trent. Go, Jerry.
Hi, guys.
All right, man.
I've been listening intently to the accolades you've given, dear James, and I think it's a credit to the station. And if I could just throw a couple of very modest ones that remind me of James.
Yeah.
I used to be an avid follower of Big Brother.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And I say used to be because after it went, well, you can forget it. Yeah. And the funny thing about James, which I noticed, is there was a moment with Christopher Biggins where the two just had a sneaky word with each other, and one said to the other, well, why'd you come in to this thing? And I think it was Chris Biggins said, for the money, and James said, so did I.
Yeah.
And then what was lovely is towards the end, I think we saw, before he got evicted, we saw a side to him I hadn't seen so intently, was he was introduced to his dogs that he missed, and his emotional attachment to those.
Oh, he loved his dogs.
And that's what makes me crack up with you calling him James Wales, and then makes remarks about the dogs. Now, whether he was genuinely upset about it, I don't know. But every single time, honestly, Ash, you really hit the button for me. It had me in stitches.
Oh, that's good. He lasted till the very last day. He was hoping to get kicked out as soon as possible because you get paid the same amount however long you're in there, so you get paid more if you get kicked out early. But he lasted. He didn't get evicted until the last day. I think he came third. So yeah,
he was hoping to get evicted.
Yeah, he really was. He wanted to get evicted. His agent Ray said, "Oh, don't worry, you'll be out in a week," and he lasted the whole course because he did add value.
I think he was more than a celebrity. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And the funny thing as well is it's going back a while now, but I've told the story before, Ashes, you probably might remember, but when they used to actually give money away in the radio stations, and
that's very rare.
And the trick was that the deal was that you had to phone in, and you had to say a phrase at the time.
Oh yeah.
And you'd pal up with someone else that they'd phone up, and the other person that they'd ring up had to answer the phone, so they had to be listening, and they had to get the phrase exactly right. And the phrase was, the conversation of the nation, 10:53, 10:89, talk radio.
That is an old competition, wasn't it? That must be 25 years old, yeah. You go back, don't you?
Oh, man. Too far, actually.
Yeah.
About 2 years younger than James. And the funny thing about it was you could win 500 quid, each of you.
Allegedly.
And that was a fortune in those days, Ash, I tell you.
Yeah, it was.
Made a lot. And a pal of mine had a bad relationship. He was absolutely impoverished, living in a very cold flat. And I said to him, look, there's this competition going on. Do you fancy, having a go with it? And he said, I never win anything, Jerry. And he doesn't. He's really bad luck. And I said, well, look, stand by the phone. Here's the phrase. Make sure you answer. And I know he genuinely thought, oh, this isn't going to happen. But I forced him to write it down. Well, James says, hi, Jerry. What's
the phrase? Yeah, what's the phrase? Yeah.
The phrase of the nation or something like that. Yeah. And so I rattled it off. He said, oh, well done. And he said, well, I'm now going to ring your friend. And, of course, I thought, is he going to answer? And you know what James's tolerance level for patience is like? Oh, it doesn't sound like he's going to answer. And then all of a sudden he picked up the phone. He said, right, Don, what's the phrase? And
did he get the phrase and then he was that what happened?
Yeah, well, the terrible thing was, my pal wasn't too generous, really. He said, I haven't seen you on the telly for a long time. And I thought, oh, no, he's not helping at all. He's saying that to James. Jesus Christ.
And then what happened?
Well, James seemed to cut him some slack. He got halfway through the phrase and hesitated. He said, no, I don't think you've got it. And I said to James, oh, give us one more chance, James, would you? And I thought he was bound to say no, but he did. We won the 500 quid, and my friend rang me up straight after. He said, I can't believe I won that. And I said, well, given the poor performance you gave, I'm surprised we did. And, it changed his life because he was able to give his kids presents and all sorts. But it was a very memorable moment. I shall never forget the cheque arriving. And although there were loads of competitions at that time, you could win quite a few bob. And it's a very treasured memory, that.
And then what happened? No, don't tell us. Keep it as a special. We'll talk about that next week. But no, it's time for another little clip. Thank you very much for that, Jerry. Give us a ring soon. And this is another little clip, and you won't believe this. Theo Paphitis and Boris Johnson in the room together at Talk with me and James Wells. Look what happened.
Look, we want to make money, right? We're going to make money on this, so I'm going to put this idea to you. It's Whaley's Den.
Right.
So, my first pitch to you, please. See what you think. You're going to love it.
Get on with it.
No Holds Barred documentary exploring how Meghan Markle ghosted me.
No, we will not be doing that. Sorry, Theo. I had no idea. She is obsessed with the fact.
I was her friend. She blanked me and Piers Morgan. I think it could even be made to a movie.
She ghosted her,
yeah. No, look. Can we stop this now?
All right, next one.
Guys, no, seriously. Because this is just not funny anymore. Her and Piers Morgan go on and on and on about Meghan Markle. Leave those couple alone, or I will get angry. Piers, I'll get angry with you, mate, as well as her. Just leave them alone.
Another pitch, quickly. Another pitch.
Nothing about Meghan Markle.
Britain's best Meghan Markle lookalike.
No. This has got to... You are being ridiculous now.
I'm not.
You are being totally ridiculous.
I thought it was good.
And we're not having that. I don't know who told you to do it.
There's quite a market for lookalikes in the UK, isn't there, Marilyn?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
I had no idea. I wouldn't be a lookalike. I'm not a lookalike.
No. And again, this is what happens when I'm away from
I love the way it's just unguessable, the relationship between James Whale and Theo Paphitis. They're archery partners. I mean, that's just madness, isn't it? Archery partners.
Well, yeah, no, he did like to. They both like to run around the woods, in their leather boots and all that. And he was a great mate of the show, Theo. He truly was one of his great mates. Anyway, it's the last bit of the show. Oh no, we've got another 2 portions. We're going to go have more than that, and all your calls back in under 2 minutes.
across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is Talk. OK, I think we just go to the phones, don't we? Or do you want to do another clip?
No,
let's go to the phones first. Yeah. Let's go to Sarah in Liverpool.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Morning.
Hello. I'd just like to send my condolences to Ash.
Thanks, Sarah.
Oh, you must miss your side partner.
I do. You know, it's it hasn't quite settled in, but you know, every now and then, you know, it hits you. Doesn't it?
You've got such a brave face on. You're just an amazing person. You two together are boot ends.
Thank you, Sarah. So, how long have you been listening to us and James?
Years and years. I used to listen to him when he was on the television. I followed him all the way through when he kicked off because I loved the way he used to rebel against people and turn the other side and turn the other conversation and things like that.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? People, you never knew what was going to happen, which is why people tuned in.
Exactly. That's what I loved about him. He spoke and said how he felt, and then he took the other person's side and brought it down to the middle and tried to sort it all out and how you feel.
And normally made it a lot worse, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, when he died, I cried for 2 days.
A lot of people did, yeah.
Oh, God, it was so sad. But, well, that's my condolences. What I'm trying to say tonight is that I've seen pictures on the television with the police and everything, and the way the police are sorting the demonstrations out. And I can see the different scenarios, what's going on. But there's one thing that shocked me tonight. I seen someone who works for the army who was in the police. Mm. So that tells me there's an underlying something's going on.
Well, we always used to get our police out of the army. People have complained we're not getting many ex-servicemen in the police anymore. We've got people who don't even... They look like, you know, when you used to see actors in like The Bill, and they didn't... You could see they weren't real policemen, they were actors. Now the police actually look like actors just wearing these big floppy uniforms.
Ash.
Yeah.
I know this person. He's in the army.
Well, a lot of the riot and riot police and those ones, they're quite tough.
No. I think what she's saying is they're fitting up the army with police uniforms.
Using the
ready.
army. Yeah, well, that wouldn't surprise me either. Yeah.
What they're doing is putting the army in police uniforms and using it that way. So
I think isn't that against the Geneva Convention or something to be?
No, I think look, the reality is the last time they fitted up the parachute regiment for civilian use in police uniforms, they didn't deploy them. They were worried that the Lancashire and Yorkshire police would change sides. The reality is, look, there is going to be a civil war in this country if we continue with the uncontrolled immigration at this level. My solution, I think, is the simple one, which is to repeal the Human Rights Act and get rid of all these illegal migrants. The authorities, the establishment, the BBC, seem to think the solution is to keep doing what we're doing, even though nobody voted for it,
and deny it and cover it all up.
And then send the army in to kick the shit out of people who disagree.
Yeah.
I mean...
Can you please be a Prime Minister?
We reckon we could do it.
You never know what will happen. What's Liverpool like then, Sarah? Because I've heard Liverpool's changing quite a lot lately.
Oh, no, well, where I live now, I said, oh, my God. Where I live, it's a lovely area, and it's all mixture and racist and all things.
Where exactly do you live? Do you mind me asking?
Sorry?
Where exactly do you live?
It's Walton.
Walton?
Yes, I have things round.
Oh, it's a lovely area, Walton.
Oh, it's beautiful. No, it is a nice area. The people are gorgeous. They all stick together.
Yeah, they are.
Well, that's a good thing about Liverpool. It is one of those towns where people.
I think my great grandfather lived in Walton after he was convicted for being a lieutenant in the IRA, but he didn't live there voluntarily.
Oh shit! They live under my roof. But what I can turn around and say now. Right, this is what I'm saying, where I've noticed now. I'm 68 years old now.
Happy birthday.
50-odd years. Yeah, happy birthday. You don't say happy birthday when you're 68 anymore. You go, I wish.
What do you say when you're 69?
I'll just forget it. Look after me, granted. When I look out the window now, I swear down, I can see so many. I'm not racist. I'm nothing like that at all. but all I can see is loads of black people, black people, black people, black people. I don't know what the hell's going on. They've left an inlet somewhere where they're all sneaking in. And they're coming through the side door and just.
I think that is the point.
I mean, it's not about just black. It's about all different cultures.
No. I think that's just with respect. That's not the point she's making. The point is that if you're from somewhere like Liverpool, you can tell the people who are from Liverpool, and you can tell who are newcomers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of them. And the thing is, right? I'm not being funny. I'm not laughing about it, but I am laughing about it. There's a woman that was coming over the road and she had a bag of Iceland shopping on top of her head.
Wow.
Now, that shocked me. I said, Phil, I'm 68, but there's no way I'm putting shopping on the top of my head.
I've always admired that, a way to do that. I've tried it a few times, but I just can't do it. But it is much easier when you can get it on your head.
But it's something that's very typically associated with Africa, isn't it?
Yeah. It certainly is. Brian in Whitley Bay, hey, man.
Hi, everybody. Ash, I'm so sorry to hear about James, right? He is a legend, and
Thanks,
and I've listened to him for years.
Well, you must have listened on Mitro.
I didn't actually, because he actually was on Metro Radio from 1974 to 1982. That was when he was a 23-year-old. My Uncle Dan used to listen on his night owl show back then.
Yeah.
So I think there's some clips up on YouTube from his early years when he was quite young.
Yeah.
But I used to listen to you and James when you were on Medium Wave on Talk Radio.
Yeah.
And then it was like a double bill because it was you and James on, and then the Creatures of the Night with
Ian Collins and the Creatures of the Night.
Yeah. So I was up practically up all night listening to the radio because I was like mesmerised.
Creatures of the Night. What
Ian
did he
Collins.
do?
Well, he had people like Miff and
Miff.
Yeah, Miff. And he had Kev the Wonder Sheep, and he had old Mikey Boy Hanson, and it was a great show that went all through.
It was, yeah.
Well, what did you do? Were you working at that time, or?
No, I wasn't.
You were just claiming dole and listening to the show throughout the night, and then just eating chips in the afternoon and watching Neighbours.
Medium Wave back then, it was Medium Wave.
That's right, 10:89, 10:53 a.m, 11:07 in Torbay.
The main rule has to be never drink vodka, but until this morning's finished.
It was the old Radio 1 frequencies, because they switched to FM, and we got the old BBC, because Radio 1 was 10:89, and we got all their old. So it was a very powerful transmitters all over the country.
Can I just say another thing, Ash? I'm a bit worried about Danielle.
We all are.
You know, like when she said she has these erotic dreams, I think she's been ravished by an incubus, not a succubus.
Oh, what's the difference with a succubus and an incubus?
Yeah, it's a male spirit that ravishes women, and a succubus is a female spirit from the dark side that ravishes men.
It's the incubus then, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, we got another little clip, and this is a great honour when Zippy from Rainbow, unbelievably, yes, we had Zippy from Rainbow come and visit us, and this is a bit of what happened.
Actually, that bloody Zippy gives me the creeps.
Does he? Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. I don't think you give me the creeps.
Would you like to snog him?
Of course you would.
Oh, God, no.
Bungle's more creepy, isn't he? Bungle's a bit.
I think, yes, Bungle probably...
The thing of it is, right, when you look back to Magic Roundabout and bloody all that sort of stuff, it was all perversion.
No, it
wasn't. Hang on.
It was innocent.
Is it... Have you had any luck, Zippy, with the ladies? Would you like to chat Debbie up?
Yeah, I'll chat Debbie up if you like. I would like to have a look at her first, Marjorie.
God.
Oh, don't you really want to? I'm very nice underneath everything, you know.
It's perverted.
Have you ever...
Back in the day, when we look back...
Yeah. Hang on just a minute.
When we were kids, we thought it was innocent, but it's not innocent. It's all perversion.
Yeah,
oh, no,
well,
we had to please the adults as well.
Hold on one moment. Does a Zippy have a penis or not? And that is a question that...
It doesn't matter about that. It's all about the innocence. It's all about the innocence, what they do.
What did they do?
I thought we just did innocent things. We were innocent men.
It's perversion.
I can't remember watching about
No, it's all right. You're thinking of Rod, Jane and Freddie. That's a different story, yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much indeed, and lovely to talk to you too.
It's very hateful towards Rod.
Well, I'm so sorry.
Sorry about that, Jim.
And that was Mike Batt of Womble
I think she'd watched that joke Rainbow episode, which was quite rude. By the way, I just want to put one thing out. The only time Bungle wore clothes was when he was in bed with Jeffrey. Yeah. So he walked around naked normally,
but he had
and then he wore pyjamas.
He had no genitals unless they were tucked away.
Well, no, he wore pyjamas in bed with Jeffrey, but he walked around naked normally.
But the interesting thing you said doesn't sound like Zippy, but as I pointed out, there were two Zippies, and there was the one before him. More like that. That's George.
Yeah,
Good boy. Anyway, we're going to take a little breaky, and we're going to take Bob, Graham, Kevin, Liam, Jill, Paul, and Eddie. A bit more of Whale as well, the best and worst of Whale. And you're listening to Talk. We'll be back in a minute in a bit.
Oh.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
By the way, I meant to say to you, Asher, you know, at midnight I normally run for a wee during the news.
Yes.
Right, and I normally do that because, you know what, I drink that much during the show, I don't know why, but I end up desperate for a wee at midnight. Yeah. I normally bump into the toilet, I normally bump into Jason Cundy from Talk Sport, who presents the Sports Bar. Yeah. And he said to me, we were chatting away, and he went, I've got to run, I've got to get back. And he went, don't worry, we've got loads of time. And I went, look, A, I've got to run further, and B, I'm not a former footballer.
Yeah, he's quite fast on his feet.
He moves. Plus, his Talk Sport is right next to the toilet, whereas I have to run all the way down the corridor. Why can't they put the people who are more likely to be fat nearer the toilet?
Put a urinal in here, couldn't they? I mean, and there was a famous Nicholas Parsons incident where he had to do it in the bin. So.
Yeah, but if you think about it, the Talk Sport people are much more likely to be able to run to the toilet.
I don't know. I mean, you got Alan Brazil and people like that. You know what I mean? And they got bad knees. A lot of these footballers, their knees are shot. You know what I mean? They're knackered. Anyway, Eddie's in the Wirral. All right, Eddie.
The Wirral.
Hey guys.
All right.
Hey, from the Wirral.
What's up, Eddie?
Sorry for sweating. Hey guys, I just have to ask you one question here.
Go on. Here we go. Go on.
Did these people who are coming? Who's paying for these people?
We are, Eddie. Our taxes.
Are you sure about this?
Yeah. Do you work, Eddie? I mean, your tax. This is where it's going to.
No. all I say is a load of local shops everywhere and Turkish barbers and this and...
Oh, so first of all, we don't want to besmirch the people that have opened up new barbers, but many of them, not all of them, and it's important to bear in mind, not all of them, are money laundering. So they only take cash because they're cocaine dealers.
And here's the thing as well, like, I'm not racist or anything.
It's about to be racist.
I married an Asian girl. I married an Asian girl, so...
just to prove you're not racist?
Well, listen, I don't care if I am.
You're probably not, though, being as you married, you know. So.
Right, come on, can we be quite quick now? Come on, let's do it.
Are you drunk?
I am so sorry. I'm just wondering, who's paying for all these people?
We're paying for it. It's what tax is, Eddie. The tax.
Eddie, have you been to the pub tonight?
I think he's brought the pub to him.
I have been to the pub tonight, but I always look at you. I always listen to you. So, and it's the first time I've got through.
It's fantastic. Well, don't make it the last. Or maybe do.
Make it the last.
Don't. No, thanks, Eddie. Give us a ring next week. Let's go to Paul in Redditch. They have a Kingfisher shopping centre in Redditch.
They do indeed, Ash. Yeah, and I work there. How are you?
I'm all right, man. How are you? How are you, man?
I know the show's near the ending. I just want to make this quick, really, Ash. I just want to say a big thank you to you personally and James, because Saturday nights when you was doing the 7 till 10 slot
was a great slot, that.
Yeah. It was great. And honestly, guys, you just made me it was an event for me, and I would finish work at the Kingfisher, dash off listening to the radio rap in my car, and go to the chip shop, come back, and I'd be in time for you guys every Saturday. And it was just the best time. And I've never ever cried at the death of a celebrity or a famous person, but when I heard Russell Quirk break the news on Monday, I was just in bits.
Well, that's the thing. People, the difference with radio and people especially is you know you listen to them for years and you're with them every day and they're in your head, and so it's much more than a normal celebrity. You know what I mean? You actually do get to know the person as well, don't you? Because you can't really hide your personality.
Definitely, but I just want to say as well that I found a bunch of his old shows. I didn't realise he did a podcast a couple of years ago now.
That's right, yeah. He did another podcast.
I think he was still doing it when he just joined up with you guys.
Yeah, that's right. It's all on his website. I think it's jameswhale.co.uk.
Yeah.
And YouTube has a lot of his ITV shows. A lot of them with the Dream Boys.
I might watch... sorry, the Dream Boys podcast.
Yeah, they just seem to appear a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
They were always on.
And one other thing, can I make a request? I don't know if you guys will be able to show this clip, but one of the best bits of James that I absolutely loved was when he was on Jeremy Carr Live, and he just got under Nicola Thorpe's skin. It was brilliant. I don't know if you guys will be able to play that from the archive.
We'll definitely have a look for that. We'll love that one.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm making a unilateral decision, Paul. What we'll do is we'll have the weekly whale from now on.
Good idea.
Every single week on Friday, we will have a clip. And what you can do is you can contact us to suggest the clips if you want, within reason, because obviously we've got to go through the archive quite quickly. But if you text in or message in at the beginning of the show on the Friday for your weekly whale, we will try and show it at the end of the show.
And even if not, we can get it the week after if we can't get it then.
And thank you, Ash.
So the first weekly whale...
Well, thank you, Paul.
First weekly whale, we'll try and get the Nicola Thorpe argument.
Yeah, man. Anyway, look, we got another little clippy at the last. We're going to end on a high, and this is obviously a lot of people watch this that have been requesting this. This is when, of course, the famous "Don't Go Breaking My Heart" Kiki D Elton John big song, directed by Michael Mansfield, who used to direct James's TV show. He directed that pop video. But James Whale had to go playing the Elton John part, and here he is, along with the great Kiki D.
Don't go breaking my heart.
I couldn't if I tried.
Oh, honey, I can't hear
Wait for the beat, wait for the beat, man.
Oh, gosh.
Here we go again.
Don't go breaking my heart.
Don't go breaking my heart.
Kiki D.
You take the weight off of me.
Knock on my...
When you knock on my door.
Oh, right, take two.
You know what? I don't think this is a take.
It's not in his key, that's why. Right. And that was amazing, wasn't it? Kiki D, what a great sport. Elton John didn't bring her into Glastonbury as well, very hurtful. But we're going to finish this hour by squeezing Barry in Lincolnshire in. Hi, Barry.
Barry.
All right, Baz.
Come on, Barry.
End the show on a high for us, Barry. Away you go.
Hello, gents. Don't put pressure on me.
Yeah.
I've been listening to you tonight for, I don't know, how long have you been on? A couple of hours?
3 hours. I know, it just seems like a couple. It goes fast.
It does, but that guy on there, I don't know what his name was with his James Wales story, but he could really put a glass eye to sleep, couldn't he?
Yeah, Jerry Burton on trumpet. He's a great guy. He's had about 3 bottles of wine by this time normally, and he hides it well, doesn't he?
Oh, you wouldn't notice, would you? Really? No. And the guy just now, the one with the Asian wife, he's definitely not racist.
I think he'd had a few bottles of wine or beer as well.
I think so. What time are we on?
I got a text message. At the beginning of the year, and it said, "It's fair to say your viewers and listeners are not observing dry January."
Certainly not. So, how long have you been listening to us, Barry?
On and off. So I'd sort of like. I've been spending time listening to GB News for quite some time. So
Never heard of it.
Patrick Christie's, all of those guys. But do you know what? It's getting a bit old.
Oh.
And then I've skipped over to you guys with Mike Graham in the mornings. So he wakes me up at, I don't know, 6
Mike Graham,
in the morning.
great show that. And then Julia, of course. Fantastic.